Seahawks, which is what we're going to talk about. Dave Wyman is in transit, apparently, on his way to Green Bay. He will be with us Thursday and Friday, but not today. They are traveling. I guess they've got some joint practices going on, so he'll be out there for that. But final preseason game coming up this weekend, which I wouldn't imagine we'll see anybody who's thought to be a starter, maybe outside of a punter and a kicker. Beyond that, I don't know that we'd see anybody. Is there anybody out there that you think should play, that they're still? I think they know who their starters are now.
You think center too?
I think they know whether they announce it or not.
Yeah.
Totally different. I think they've come to by the time they get there this week, I think they'll have already come to a conclusion. These are our guys. Doesn't mean that's true for the rest of the season, but this is how we're going to start the season. So this game is about who makes the team. Who are the guys fighting for roster spots? I think starters have been established.
Yeah, I would hope so. And I think that's why tomorrow holds a lot of weight. I'm sure everyone there is going to be breathlessly reporting which person is starting at center, who's starting at right guard, and you have the situational 1-versus-1s, and you gain a lot out of these joint practices. We know how much they raved about it last year in Nashville, and they practiced with the Titans for 2 days. So, yeah, I don't really hold this preseason game to have any weight when it comes to starters, like you said. I think, you come down to roster spots. Running back, a lot of guys fighting for their spots there. Wide receiver, Jake Bobo has had a strong presence on this team the last couple of years. Is he going to have a spot on this roster because
that's the most intriguing one to me. Not him in particular, but just the wide receiver group.
Yeah.
Because they seem to have, whether it's Tariq Young, whether it's Bobo, whether it's Cody White, you got a lot of guys who you look at and go, I'm not saying they're all pros or anything, but guys that can do some things, that have some ability that you kind of go, I hate to see that guy go, but I don't know if they're going to keep 5. Are they going to keep 6? Maybe they keep 5 because they're going to go 3 tight ends. I don't know what they're going to do, but there's going to be somebody that they release that we're going to go, kind of like that guy. I thought he may, and maybe it's going to be at the running back spot. We talked about that yesterday with Dave. So I don't know. It's going to be intriguing. I don't know how intriguing the actual game's going to be. That's usually the worst game of the preseason, and preseason's kind of a tough slog as it is. But yeah, it's. I think they'll have their starters nailed down before they get to that game. They'll get through the practices, and they'll know who their center is going to be. They're going to know who their right guard. I think Bradford's the right guard. I think it is. Whether you love him or hate him, I think he's looked really good. Personally, doesn't mean that's it's preseason. We'll see what it's like when you're game planning and teams are game planning for you. But I don't know. I'm curious for those that were concerned about the line, which I was. Still am. I mean, it's preseason. But if you came into this preseason with concerns, did you see enough to sort of calm those concerns, or are you just dismissing everything you saw and saying, talk to me in the real season?
Well, I haven't seen enough out of center yet because it feels like they wanted Olu to get the start, and they kept giving him those opportunities, and he hasn't been available. So if Jalen Sundell can win that job, great. Commit to him, stick with him. We'll see what he does for the joint practice, for any kind of reps they get leading up to the season. But you have to have that stability. And just for the fact that Olu was kind of penciled in as the starter, that's the only kind of curiosity for me. I do believe, like you said, Bob, they have the starter set, or they want to. But what if we see Olu in this preseason game or in that joint practice get a lot of run because you and Dave talk about it a lot. Do you get penalized because of injury? If you're not out there, is your availability you're not there, so you get penalized? Or are you good enough when healthy to win that job? If Olu is not out there, leads me to believe, all right, Jalen Sundell is the guy because he just can't recover. But if he's playing, that kind of throws in that curiosity of, well, do they want him to be the starter still? Has Sundell not done enough to establish that spot? When you're breaking in a new quarterback and a new system and everything new, there can't be any uncertainty at center.
Well, and we're talking about, do you lose your job to injury? Was it his job? I don't know that it was his job. It wasn't like coming in and, JSN, that's his job, right? And that's Spoon's job, and that's Leonard Williams. There are certain guys you come into the season going, yeah, that's the starter, barring injury or some monumental, just complete collapse. But center, right guard, those were the two we kept talking about all year, or all offseason, I should say. Your right and left tackles are set, providing that Abe Lucas is healthy. Gray Zabel is your number 1 pick, your first-round pick. That spot is pretty much set. The only two that were up for grabs, is center and right guard. So I look at it and feel like, yeah, Olu is the guy that's been there. He's been the name we talk about most often, but I didn't come into camp feeling like, well, it's his job. Somebody's going to have to take it from him. I thought it's up for grabs. I don't know if you viewed it differently, but I felt like
wasn't sure.
It wasn't his. It's not his.
It just felt like because he was the presence and there was no one else. And Sundell really hadn't taken a lot of snaps at center. So, yeah, you kind of go in with the expectation that he's the one returner. That's his job because he came in last year and took over in a tough situation and performed admirably. But, yeah, it's not like you were outlying with a JSN or a Darnold where it was theirs until they might have gotten hurt. So just the fact that, hey, we're quibbling over this instead of the entirety of the offensive line where, whoa, really not sure how this line looks. The fact that we do have to kind of really get granular and detail into, not sure about center yet. Much better spot to be in than, well, I really don't know how this offense is going to look. Like last year with Ryan Grubb, what's the run game going to look like? We really haven't seen it. We'd have no track record. So the fact that it is this detailed, I think it's a great step forward compared to where you were last year with so much unknown when it came to an entire system.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And look, we'll see. Maybe Olu ends up being the guy. I'm not saying he won't. I'm just saying, in my opinion, that job was not his. It was up for grabs. And if he gets it, that means he won the job. We'll see how that goes. And again, we've seen that Coach McDonald is very quick to pull the trigger on things that aren't working. So whoever's a starter right now in some of these spots doesn't mean they're going to be the starter all year. He's shown that. So, yeah, you might start the season there, but it doesn't mean that's how it's going to go the rest of the year. Meanwhile, the one thing that I was really curious about all of the curiosity on the offense. I think we knew defensively what they were. Basically, everybody's back. You added a couple pieces. I feel great about the defense. I don't really have any questions. Maybe depth at a couple of spots, but I feel great about the defense. But the offense, we're like, all right, this line was really bad. It was really problematic. What does Darnold look like? Well, we got a small glimpse of Darnold. But the line has looked really good in that the system that Kubiak is running seems to fit, right? The commitment to the run has been remarkably effective. Again, I keep throwing it out there. It's preseason. I know, not going to get too excited, but just watching it in motion, watching it against real opposition, not just sitting out there watching drills and practice. I was like, okay, I can see the method to the madness, and I like the way it looks, and it seems comfortable for the O-line. That's what stands out to me is it seems like it fits the personnel. Now, we'll see what it looks like when it's real, when it counts, but I don't know how you watched what they did on the ground and how the O-line looked in that aspect and not come out of it going, okay, I see what he does here, and I like it.
Yeah, it's cohesive. It makes sense. It is certainly just a starting point because this is all we have to go on. You can't say, yeah, it's fixed for the season. We don't have that sample size. But based on 2 preseason games, which is all you have, that's all you can judge at this point, it looks really good. Yeah. And it's exciting. And it does lead you to believe, when it's working well, you can see what they did in that opening drive against the Chiefs. You can see how that will play out in a drive in the regular season. And that's not to say that, yes, this is the end-all, be-all. The offense is going to be fantastic because they'll have to make adjustments. Other teams will see that. They'll adjust. So it's that back and forth. But there's a track record now, based on what players have said, based on what we've seen, that you feel more comfortable that Kubiak and the offense, because of how it looks, because of how it's designed, they know how to adjust. They know how to accommodate for a different look or something where, well, this formation has now stymied us on a couple of drives. What do we do? Right. We're not just going to keep dropping back and doing the same thing where it was just, and this is what a couple of guys have mentioned this, or we've talked about this on our station a lot. With Ryan Grubb, it was just like, call this play, call this play, call this play. There was no flow. There was no connectivity. With Kubiak, it all fits together. There's a purpose for every single play call that he draws up.
Yeah, and I'm curious, again, from Seahawks fans out there, text in 866-979-3776. If you came into this preseason with questions like we all did, especially about the offense, if you were pessimistic or cynical, whatever you were feeling about the offense, have you seen enough from Kubiak's approach, at least, just the approach, to give you some level of optimism that maybe you didn't have going in? Because that was me. I wasn't negative. I was just like, I don't know. I have no idea what this is going to look like. I don't know what Darnold – we still don't really know what Darnold's going to look like. He was 4 for 4. That was cool. But you saw him for a hot minute, and that was it. So that's still a question mark. The O-line was the problem. And that aspect of it, just isolating that, understanding the limitations of preseason, I'm looking at going, okay, it gives me a reason to feel like, all right, we're going to be okay. Doesn't mean there won't be some bumpy moments along the way. I'm certain there will be, but it gave me a little reassurance I didn't have going in. That's where I'm at with that.
It's more just a curiosity for me with Darnold, not a concern. Yeah. There will be what does this actually look like when it counts? Because in the NFL, everything comes down to your quarterback. Yeah, no matter how good you are everywhere else.
I got a little concern.
But nothing he was going to do in the preseason would change that. And so, that's the thing.
I just wanted to look comfortable.
Right. Yeah. Because he's got, and this is something we can get into a little bit later, because ESPN actually had a good piece outlining which Seahawk they think's under the most pressure. They did not pick Darnold. I still think it's Darnold because of everything that rests on a quarterback. But right now, it's just a curiosity because he came out, he went 4 for 4. That's all you're going to see anyway. But the O-line, you don't feel overly worried about, at least yet.
Yeah.
Because nothing they've shown gives you any reason for concern at this point.
Jake Bobo, after the game against the Chiefs, gave an explanation as to why Kubiak's offense, in his opinion, should be tough on defenses.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are going to see it, but it's really cool what Kubs is doing. I mean, he's marrying up, at least for just receivers. We're on the same path for the first 10 yards of a play, whether we're running outside zone or we're running boot action, play action off of it. So I obviously have not been in their shoes, but I think that's really difficult on a defense. DBs, especially safeties that are getting cracked all game, then all of a sudden you're going to boot action off of it. You're going to run a deep in route off of that same route stem. I think that puts defenses in a bind. It puts linebackers in a bind. So it's been really cool to kind of explore that in Kubs' scheme so far. But obviously we've got further steps we want to take, and we'll continue to do that.
I'm just glad to hear, first of all, that he's got a grip on what's going on out there, that there's not we're still learning. There was no uncertainty. It didn't look like there were mistakes being made out there because guys didn't know where they should be. That's the other thing I was looking for. Like, all right, how in touch with this offense and this scheme are the players? Are they running around going, oh, I went left, I was supposed to go right? Or, looking like there's some confusion. You didn't really see any of that stood out that I can remember. So I like that, and just almost kind of an excitement when you hear some of these guys talk about the offense, like, this is going to be good. This is going to be a problem. And that, again, I'm looking for things. I'm looking for silver linings, if you will, and I feel like there's a bunch so far. And one more time, I understand it's preseason. I get it. And it may completely change when the real action is happening out there. But for not having any real sense of what it was going to be with this group, I mean, we've seen Kubiak's offenses in other situations, but with these players here, what's it going to look like? It's given me reason to look forward to it.
Yeah, I really appreciate that insight because you can kind of understand what they mean with not just the broad, Kubiak's offense is great. Oh, this wide zone's going to help everyone. Bobo gave specifics there to let everyone know, this is why. Sure, teams understand a wide zone, but do they understand it when we see them attack it one way? We have the same formation dialed up, and now we know how to counter it. Yeah. So that was some fascinating insight there, I thought.
Yeah, one more before we get to take two. Cooper Kupp talking about the play calling and the sequencing in this offense.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of my favorite things about watching offenses really across the league as the season goes on, right? Like you have the first 4 weeks of the season, this is what we did in training camp, this is who we are. You put those 4 weeks together, it's like, well, now we got, now they've seen 4 weeks, now we got to kind of start building off of it. It's like you just keep stacking layers upon layers, and by the end of it, it's morphed into like, man, these are the things that are working for us, these are the things that we're doing well, and there's these, these counters and counters back that just, it makes it a lot of fun to see that kind of growth. And it is about the sequencing and how you're going to, like, what are the things that you're putting out there? What runs are working well? What play actions are you going to build off of that? And what screens are you going to build off of those? It just continues to stack and build. And I think we've seen a little bit, I mean, the way that we do things here, just being able to compete against each other. And in some ways, it's like, man, Clint just wants to beat the crap out of Mike, and Mike wants to beat the crap out of Clint, and it makes it really fun.
I love it.
Stack and build, beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah, you got to stack things. Got to stack those layers. So yeah, I love it, and I love the excitement that's coming from the guys we hear on that side of the ball. So we'll talk more about that as they get set for the final game of the preseason coming up Saturday in Green Bay. Right now, let's take two.
The Astros were swept by the Tigers earlier today, which means the Mariners stay 1.5 games back in the AL West. And Dom Canzone did have x-rays come back negative, but he has swelling in the area around his left wrist.
Yeah, the Astros are just as pathetic as the Mariners. So there's that.
Got that going for you at least.
Yeah, you remain one. Does anybody want the division? Would anybody like to win the AL West? We'll talk more about that. But Canzone, good to see that, there's nothing in the way of serious damage there. I mean, the longer he's out, the more you're exposed to Dylan Moore, which is not a good thing this year. Luke Raley, I guess, if there's not a lefty on the hill. But yeah, he needs to get back out there. He's been one of the positives since he came back up from AAA.
Yeah, and Canzone's the one guy they seem to willingly start against lefties because Raley has not gotten a start in that series with the lefties.
Him and
so
JP.
Interesting that Canzone,
and
and JP. Well, the outfielders. Raley's not going to get the start. Naylor got the day off today, at least to start, and it was Solano. So Canzone, they've gone with the lefty, but yeah, good. He needs to get back.
NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reports that the Vikings are looking to trade for a veteran wide receiver because Jordan Addison is suspended for the first 3 games of the season and Justin Jefferson is dealing with a hamstring issue.
Well, maybe one of these guys we think could be a cut casualty. Would they be? Or maybe it's not prominent enough. Maybe they're not big enough names. They want somebody who's more of an established playmaker.
I'm still just curious what the Vikings plan going into the season. They've put a lot of trust into J.J. McCarthy, who didn't take a single snap. You don't really have the same cohesiveness at wide receiver as you did last year for Sam Darnold. If Addison's out he is out for 3 games, then who knows what he looks like when he gets back. Jefferson's not fully healthy. So there's a team that if you're talking about a playoff spot or a wild card spot, they were a wild card team last year. They're dealing with this uncertainty that could be key for the Seahawks or anyone in this division to take advantage early on.
You think they're going to knock on the Seahawks door and go, hey, what do we have to give up for Cody White or for Jake Bobo?
Well, what if the Seahawks are like, we'll trade you Valdez-Scantling, even though they just picked him out in the offseason?
You never know. If the price is right, you never know. All right, Take Two is brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. Coming up, he got a firsthand look at this Mariners team yesterday, and I'm sure he was dazzled. We're going to catch up with Tyler Kepner, senior Major League Baseball writer for The Athletic. He's going to join us next. It's Wyman and Bob with Mike Lefko in for Wyman, Seattle Sports on 710.
I might be in love with Clint Kubiak.
Oh.
Brock and Salk. I did not think I was going to say this at any point, let alone after a second preseason game.
It was just the orchestration of it all, too, wasn't it? It was a symphony of destruction.
I got multiple highlights here that start with Steve Rabel saying,
I-backs behind you.
I-backs. And that's not one word. That's not like I-B-A-X or anything like that. Or like, what are those animals, the ibex?
I-backs.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports.
Now is the time. We talk about it year-round, but roofing season really is upon us. It's Mike Salk here. So what makes it roofing season? Long, dry days where roofing crews can work realistically sun up to sundown. They're cranking out projects all over our region, and Riverside Roofing is, of course, leading the charge. Local to Marysville, Riverside Roofing serves the entirety of Western Washington. They do amazing work. They've earned my recommendation, plus industry awards like GAF Master Elite's President's Club, a status fewer than 1% of roofing companies in the entire country actually achieve. Get a roofing quote in less than 60 seconds using Quick Quote directly on riversideroofingllc.com. It'll pop up as soon as you go on their website. During and after your roofing job, you can expect a yard and driveway totally clean of debris. Behind their national accolades is a family company from right here in Marysville, built upon important local values like trust. That's why Riverside Roofing is the local roofing company you can trust. Go to riversideroofingllc.com.
Hey, college students, Safeway is giving you 5% off. That's right. Junior colleges, tech schools, universities, just verify your student ID in the app. Unlock exclusive deals and shop on the app or in person. Better yet, subscribe to Fresh Pass to get free delivery and other special offers. Remember, if you use EBT, Fresh Pass is 50% off and you get savings on fresh produce. For all the details, visit Safeway.com/4U. That's Safeway.com/FOR in the letter U.
Let me tell you about this new pretzel cheddar club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license, unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a month in bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health. It's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. You guys can weigh in on the Seahawks. Are you feeling good about what you've seen? I know it's preseason, so we keep it in context. But just if you came in negative, cynical, whatever your feelings were about the offense, has that been eased just a little bit by what you've seen, or are you just holding out until the regular season starts? You can text in on that. Certainly, we'll be talking some Mariners here. We'll catch up with Tyler Kepner, senior Major League Baseball writer for The Athletic here momentarily. Once we get him on the line, we'll talk some Mariners. We'll get into that, let everybody let everybody purge.
Yeah.
They can vent. They can just unload. They can just unload all that negativity, and I won't be able to counter any of it. I got nothing in response in the terms of an argument for whatever you may be feeling about the Mariners, because when they don't give you any ammo, it's hard to fight back. It's like me going against El Hombre there. What am I going to say?
Yeah. I know.
No, they're good.
Especially after a series like that, just the sheer hit total for the Phillies.
Well, you just got
strikeouts.
The
Mariners.
They big brothered you, man. They got dog walked. You weren't competitive. I didn't even hear Dan's post game today. I don't know what he said. I know his go-to when they lose is, there's a lot of fight in these guys. They scrapped. They really battled, and I hope he didn't say that today. Did you hear him? Did he say that?
No, I did not listen. I was trying to figure out how to dress this one up, Bob, but there was really no way to do it. So,
don't try.
Yeah.
Let's not try. You're not going to convince anybody that they didn't see what they saw out there, which was pure destruction. You got dog walked. You got hammered, and you weren't competitive. You didn't compete. You were not competitive. The end. So I don't want to hear that from Dan. I love Dan. I don't want to hear that. Don't step up to them and go, oh, these guys, they battled. No, they didn't.
Yeah, it's more of just, all right, that was completely terrible all around. You're coming back home. I think the only silver lining lies in things outside of the actual Mariners game, the fact that the road trip is over and the fact that the Astros lost. Outside of that, today, certainly not. Bryce Miller, good to see that he came back and he gave you, 5 innings? I mean, hey, that was better than
he was okay.
Better than most of the starters did on that road trip.
Yeah, he was better than Castillo. Well, that's back-to-back duds from Castillo.
Yeah.
And then we talked about this team on the road, just the pitchers across the board. And you expect it. Again, you're gonna have 81 home games, and you're in a pitcher-friendly park like T-Mobile, and especially early in the season when the ball doesn't carry. That's going to help any pitcher. So you're going to have a disparity of sorts between who you are at home versus who you are on the road. But some of the disparities are massive, like Logan and certainly Castillo was not good. But it's kind of wooing everybody else is what it feels like. Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was the longest start by far on this road trip for any of the starters.
Yeah. He's your ace. That has not changed. Nobody's done anything to change our mind on that. Do we have him? I see you guys looking. Is he not answering?
No, I keep looking at Brady, but he's gone dark on us.
Oh.
No.
All right. Well, he probably didn't want to come on here and go, what? Your team stinks.
He agreed to come on, and then it was like, that finale happened. I don't have anything to add. So
Yeah. After he watched last night's debacle, and they equaled it with today's debacle. What'd they give up? 48 hits in 2 games? Something like that.
48 hits in what? Three
games?
41. Yeah, 41 in 2 games. Then they only had 7 last night.
41 hits in 2 games.
Yeah, 21 in the opener, 20 today.
I mean, what do you even say about that? I don't even have the words. It's like it's bad. Mm-hmm. It's just bad. And you got an offense that's inconsistent. By the way, the Mariners still sit a game and a half back of the Astros in the division, but now they're the 3rd wild card. At one point, they were the 1st wild card, and then they were tied for 1st in the division. But now they're the 3rd wild card. The Yankees have the number 1 spot. The Red Sox are in the number 2 spot. Mariners number 3 with the Kansas City Royals hot on their heels. The Royals have won 5 in a row. They've won 8 of 10, and they're 2 games out. And Cleveland's right there. They're 2.5 games out. So you got teams that are nipping at your heels. You better get it fixed.
No,
you better get it figured out.
The Mariners go there to Kansas City towards the end of the season.
Is that a 4-game series?
No, I think 3. It's a Tuesday start.
Let me just take a look here. I thought they had 1 4-game series left.
No,
that's 3.
At least.
The Angels right before it is
that
4.
one. Okay, you want to talk about pivotal sequence of the season. That's it. That's your final road trip at Kansas City, at Houston. You're playing for a division spot. Hopefully, probably. And then with the way Kansas City's hanging around, at least right now, you don't want to go there and lose a head-to-head series.
Yeah, you got Cleveland before that, too.
Cleveland before that coming up. So the road has been tough. It's going to be a pretty consequential September. And weird things just seem to happen to this team in Kansas City. There have been all sorts of crazy situations
By weird,
over the last
you mean
couple
not
years.
good.
No, just strange games. Like, they have gone decently at times, but then, yes, they have lost series where you kind of scratch your head. I think back to 2022, where I guess we're making comparisons. They made the playoffs in 2022, so if it still plays out that way, it'll be good. But they went to Kansas City, had this terrible choke. They gave up like a 12-2 lead. The Royals scored 8 runs in an inning. It looked like they were going to win. They lost that series. Everyone's kind of shell-shocked. They came back. They still made the playoffs. So something like that right now, concerning for where you are in the wild card spot. If you're looking for, all right, again, tiny slivers of hope, the Red Sox and Yankees play each other starting tomorrow, 4 games. So someone's going to lose a couple. So you have to make up ground there at some point. You're coming home. You're playing the A's and the Padres. The one thing I think that you can kind of lean on moving forward past this is that there had been that concern about the Mariners playing down to their competition and at home.
Mm-hmm.
They did well last homestand, sweeping the White Sox, sweeping the Rays. So, okay, you see a team like the A's, lends you to believe if they
A's
play
are the
like
hottest
they
team
have,
in the division, Lefko.
Yeah, but no one in the division wants to play baseball right now.
They've won 6 of their last 10.
They have.
They are the hottest team in the AL West right now.
Yeah. And they just beat the Mariners earlier this year on the road. So.
I mean, we're not setting the bar very high because the Mariners and the Astros are holding hands while they face plant together. And then the Angels are 5-5 in their last 10. But yeah, technically, hottest team in the division, the A's, Sacramento A's. Won 6 of 10.
I think what's more concerning overall is just the road trips here in this second half. So the Mariners have not won a series on the road this second half. Mm-hmm. They've lost 4 in a row. The other one they had, the 4-gamer against the Angels, they split. But you have to go on the road, clearly. We've just discussed their schedule. You're not going to have a playoff series unless you win the top wild card that's solely at home. So at some point, you have to conjure up what you've done well at home. On the road, they haven't shown that. It's not like every team they've played has been dominant like the Phillies. The Phillies loss, in and of itself, okay, not bad to lose. Bad to get swept, bad to get thoroughly outplayed. But built on top of the Mets were not playing well, the Orioles are not a good team, and you lose all those, then there are trends that start to emerge. And so that's where you sit back and think, all right, well, what doesn't happen on the road that has happened at home for this team, especially post-All-Star break?
It's a good question. I don't know why it changed. Certainly it's harder to win on the road. That's true every year. And again, talking about the pitching, you've got the luxury of pitching in T-Mobile. Then you go on the road and you're going to pitch in certain parks that are bandboxes, that are hitters parks, and you're not going to get away with some of the stuff you get away with in T-Mobile. And maybe pitchers are taking chances with some pitches in these parks that they do in T-Mobile they get away with, and these parks they don't. I mean, could be a lot of different things. Who knows? And it is so maddening. I was so angry today coming home to the point where we were going to open with the Mariners, and I told Lefko, let's start with the Seahawks. I can't do the Mariners to open the show. I can't not, because nothing good is going to come out of my mouth. And not that it is right now, but at least it's clean. So there's that. That's a win. Not sure what's going on with Tyler Kepner.
Though. Should we do the... We'll record the non-edited version and see what we can play on air.
It'll be beep, 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 as I look straight ahead and John Curley's doing jump rope in the newsroom. What the hell's he doing?
You have left me speechless. I just turned and saw that.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing.
Is he an influencer now, an online fitness guru?
I don't know who's going to be influenced by that. All right, well, we'll see if we can track Tyler Kepner down and if he'll join us at another time. But the Mariners have some other teams to thank, plus one Major League Baseball player wasn't shy about calling out umpires. We'll get into all of that coming up next. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
This place is electric. When we get crowds like this, it's special.
There's something special happening in Soto.
It's amazing getting to, play in front of a sold-out crowd.
The roar coming from the corner of Edgar and Dave is different.
J.P. Crawford with a walk-off 2-run home run.
Friday night, the Mariners return home for a huge 6-game set with the first of 3 against the A's. First pitch at 7:10. The push to the playoffs lives on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Hey, it's Bob Stelton here, and I can see clearly now. It's amazing. Let me tell you about one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. That's when I went to K2 Vision for Refractive Lens Exchange, or RLE. Dr. Kopstein started K2 Vision with Dr. King from King LASIK, the most experienced LASIK surgeon in the Northwest. King LASIK plus K2 Vision equals freedom vision for every stage of life. No glasses, contacts, readers, or cataracts. So if you're somebody that struggles with distance vision and now you always need a pair of reading glasses, K2 Vision RLE could be your perfect permanent solution to spending your good active years not needing reading glasses. And here's the capper. You're never going to develop a cataract. I'm somebody that needed readers in every room of the house. I needed to see the scoreboard out at ball games. I just couldn't see clearly. That has all changed thanks to RLE. Whether it's LASIK, EVO ICL, or RLE, trust the most experienced team of doctors to point you in the right direction. Schedule your free Zoom consultation today at K2VisionRLE.com. That's K2VisionRLE.com.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Old windows cost you money and security. Lake Washington Windows and Doors installs energy-efficient, high-security windows that lower your bills and increase protection. With leak armor installation and lifetime warranties, you're protected for life. Choose LakeWashingtonWindows.com today.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Are you frustrated with those trendy weight loss shots and not getting the long-term results you really want? This is Dr. Ryan Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss, and whether you've hit a plateau, can't handle the side effects, or watch the pounds creep back after stopping, there's a better way. Our program has helped over 4,000 people lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in just 8 weeks without expensive injections or uncomfortable side effects. Our doctor-developed program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast. Ready for real lasting results? Visit eastsideweightlossclinic.com now to schedule your free consultation.
Did he just say Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is half the cost and works twice as fast as weight loss injections? Well, if that's not reason enough, you don't risk the scary side effects or gaining the weight back as soon as you stop. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is natural, and it works.
Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two, and you can do our program remotely from anywhere you live. Schedule your free consultation at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the Lee Johnson Auto Family. This is King. This organization's a special one. They call it the Lee Johnson Auto Family, and it's not just a name. It's not just some cliche. They foster an environment for us to become a family, to work together, to really become close. And they show us in a lot of different ways that they do value us. Is it perfect? No place is. But I've been very thankful to be here in the almost 10 years and have every plan to stay here for a lot longer and just watch it continue to grow.
He's fun and professional, which explains why so many people visiting Lee Johnson Kia ask for him by name. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We were able to track him down, everybody. He's here with us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Senior Major League Baseball writer for The Athletic, Tyler Kepner, is with us. How are you, man?
I'm doing okay. Sorry I missed the call there. How are you guys doing?
Well, not awesome. The Mariners just went out there and got dog-walked by this team, and you were in attendance for really the only respectable game of the series. I'm curious to get your take on this team that just call them Jekyll and Hyde, I think, is an understatement. I mean, they'll go on runs, and I know it's true of all teams. It's baseball, long season, all that stuff. But my goodness, to see this pitching staff go out on the road and just give it up the way that they has been something to behold. What was your takeaway from watching this team when you were out there last night?
Yeah, I was there Monday and Tuesday. It just they really looked tired. I mean, they just looked like they were exhausted. I don't worry about the Mariners because I think they're the best team in that division. But it was kind of alarming to see the way the Phillies just beat up on their pitching staff. The Phillies have a good offense for sure, but they've also been shut down quite a bit in recent days. The Reds had a couple of games where they shut the Phillies down, and so did Washington. But they really had their way. I don't think they've ever had two games in one series where they had 20 hits in both of them, and they really went to town. So it's one of those things that's hard to explain.
Tyler, do you come away feeling much better about the Phillies offense, much worse about the Mariners rotation? What's your sense now after seeing them in person and just rattling off all those things that we talked about with the Phillies offense about what this Mariners rotation might look like down the stretch?
Yeah, I think from the Phillies standpoint, it's good to show that they can really beat up on some good pitching, the kind of pitching that they'll face in the postseason. Certainly with the starters anyway, with Castillo and Gilbert in particular. But from Seattle's standpoint, I don't know. I mean, the way I kind of look at this is that the Mariners are in a slump. They're in a slump, but the Astros are in trouble. The Mariners are, at the end of a really brutal road trip, and again, they don't complain about it, but you can just look at it: 9 games in 9 days in 4 cities, and it was they played like they were out of gas, and it happens, and they'll get home and play the A's, and hopefully things will look better. But I look at that roster, and I don't see a lot of holes, right? Like I see a team that strikes out a lot, but I see a team that has a good bullpen and should have a really good rotation, and now has a lot of thump in that lineup, to be able to put the ball over the fence and have professional hitters, legit hitters, like it felt like for a while, like they were kind of, not really like, playoff caliber hitters for the lineup. Now I think they've got a playoff caliber lineup, and I just think they need to get ahead of the Astros for once and just stay there, because they're the most talented team in the division, I believe.
Tyler, do you think some of what we saw was the disparity in talent between the NL and the AL this year? It's a lot of the conversation this year is how down the American League has been, specifically this division. Doesn't seem like anybody wants to win the West. But did we see some of that, or was that just more happenstance and the fatigue you're talking about and a really good Phillies team?
Well, I think it's a fair point. I mean, the National League does. We've thought that all year. That they had more good teams, and I think it's borne itself out as the season has gone on. That there is just a ton of talent in the NL. Well, I think these guys should be able to pitch anywhere. They've certainly had success in early games, and they've got a long enough track record to where you would trust them. I think if you see more bad starts down the stretch or more ragged kind of play, you'd get a little worried. But if you're matching up, if you wind up in the World Series and you face one of those NL teams, I think you'd take whatever comes next. But they've got they've got a long way to go. First, they've just got to take down Houston, and I do think that they're the most complete team, and they're healthy. When you're healthy and talented, generally that does win out in the end. And I think Houston deserves a ton of credit for still being in first place here on August 20th with all the injuries they've had. I mean, they've got a great operation there. But I just don't think I don't think they're going to hold on. I think Seattle will eventually pass them.
Yeah, Tyler, kind of getting into that a little bit more because we're so hyper attuned to all the bad and every little thing that happens here. So with Houston, when you mention all those injuries, even with someone like Yordan Alvarez coming back, is that just not enough for what they've been trying to deal with all season?
Well, when a guy's been out so long, you never know. It's even though he is coming back, it's hard to count on him being who he was. He's missed so much time, and he's also had setbacks where he thought he was going to be ready, and he wasn't. It's been a tricky injury for him. So, I mean, he's a fun player. He's great. I hope he's good, but it's hard to know that. It's hard to rely on that, right? So, I don't know. It'll give a big boost to them, but they just don't have beyond Hunter Brown and Framber Valdez. I don't know that they have that kind of pitching that you trust on a start-to-start basis. And with Josh Hader out, that's a big two because it cuts down their effectiveness in the bullpen. Maybe Christian Javier, is. And I know he's been back for one or two stars, I think. Maybe he'll get back to being who he was after surgery, but you don't really know. And that's why I think Seattle, now they've got their 5 starters now, and they should have a good enough bullpen. And when you look down around that lineup for the first time, I don't see a lot of dry spots in that order like we did for much of the year, and certainly for the early part of last year. They've done a good job, really. If you look at going out and getting Randy Arozarena last year, and then Naylor, and bringing Suarez back. I mean, I think they've done what they were supposed to do in terms of giving this team a legit hitter up and down the lineup, and they do come back in these games. They've just been behind so early, uncharacteristically, that they had a terrible road trip.
Hey, Tyler, quickly before we let you go, give me a thought on Dan Wilson as a manager. He's obviously, when things are going this direction, he's taken a lot of heat. He's taken it throughout the season for some decisions he's made, whether it's with the lineup or with leaving guys in too long, not long enough. You know how it goes with managers, but I'm curious your take on him as far as what you've seen.
I think, today was his 162nd game. So he's at 162 games. He's 89-72, or 89-73. And that's kind of who the Mariners have been the last 4 years, right? I mean, they've been a 90-win, 88-win kind of team, and he's managed 89-73 over 162. So it's kind of just gotten the Mariners back to who they are, which is a really good team that's just kind of wanting that last push and seeking it and trying to figure out how to do it. So, I think Dan certainly knows how to win. He's been through it as a player. I think he seems to me like he does a good job. He's a very positive, optimistic guy who seems to really care about these guys and doesn't rip them in public. It seems like ever. So, I mean, he's probably the right guy as far as I can tell. I'm not around as much, as a beat writer would be. But whatever the problems they have, I don't think Dan is among them. And it's hard to say at this point after an end of such a tough trip. But they were 10-1, and since then I think they're 1-7. So what do they say in baseball, right? You're never as good as you are when you're at your hottest, and you're never as bad as you are when you're at your weakest. And those two things just happen to happen back to back. So yeah. I think they'll be fine. Get home. I mean, there's nothing better, right, than an off day and then the A's coming into town. If they get swept by the A's or something, then it might be time to start panicking. But I think they should be in good shape the rest of the way, despite they just really looked worn out And it's hard to blame them. It was a tough schedule. What are you going to do?
Tyler Kepner, senior Major League Baseball writer for The Athletic, has been our guest here with Wyman and Bob. Tyler, really appreciate it as always. Thanks for cutting out the time, and hopefully we're talking about a playoff team with you soon.
I sure hope, man. I really hope to be out there in October. I used to cover the Mariners many years ago. It's a great city. The fans really love that team. It's a beautiful ballpark. Let's see some October baseball. I'd like to be there for it.
Absolutely. We look forward to seeing you, man. Thanks so much.
All right, guys. Take care.
There you go. Tyler Kepner. If you guys missed any part of that, you can find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Meanwhile, how do the Mariners move past this just dreadful road trip? We're going to get into that coming up next. It's Wyman and Bob with Mike Lefko in for Wyman, Seattle Sports on 710.
There's something special happening in Soto.
I feel like that's what happens when you add guys. It just changes the mojo.
That roar coming from the corner of Edgar and Dave, it's different.
This one is going. Goodbye, baseball. Josh Naylor with a home run.
Friday night, the Mariners return home for a huge 6-game set. Mariners-A's. First pitch at 7:10.
We believe in each other and we're ready to fight.
The push to the playoffs lives on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Dave Wyman here, and since I stopped playing football, we've been fortunate to live in the same house for over 20 years. That type of longevity is a good thing, except 20 years in the same house means a lot of things start to break. Most recently, it's our windows. Virtually every seal has broken, and that's why I reached out to Harley Exteriors. Chris and Ray came out to the house, and I could instantly tell we'd get along great, and I'd want to do business with them. They're local, they're huge fans of our teams, and big listeners to the station. Better yet, they have the best product. Olympic Series windows offered exclusively through Harley Exteriors are manufactured right here in Washington and designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. That means cooler in the summer, warmer in the winter. Look up Harley Exteriors for your window replacement. In August, Harley Exteriors is offering 50% off basic installation, no payments for 1 year, and an additional $200 off your project. Call 833-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
I just saw 2 houses for sale. Same neighborhood, almost identical, but one had an Orchard sign and it sold for way more. So I asked my friends at Orchard, why? The first house used a traditional agent. After weeks of price drops and frustration, they settled for less than they'd hoped for. The second homeowner chose Orchard and got more. Their local Orchard agent didn't just list a home, they marketed it. They knew exactly which upgrades would attract serious buyers and brought in a pro to handle everything. And even more, with Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program, the homeowner moved into their new home before their old one even hit the market. They skipped all the hassles and showings. Never settle for less. Get more with Orchard, the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to buy your new home, even before your old home sells. Start with Orchard's free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody. Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well,
I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Astros were swept in Detroit earlier. Framber Valdez gave up 6 runs in the first inning. The Astros had a 31-inning scoreless streak. They finally scored in the 4th. They go on to lose those 7-2. So the Mariners remain a game and a half out of the division. Some wild card games of interest. The Yankees play the Rays today. The Red Sox are off. They're now a half game in front of the Mariners. Yankees and Red Sox begin a 4-game series tomorrow. And that will have some consequences as well. And then the A's, who come to Seattle on Friday, finish up their series against the Twins with the game tonight and then tomorrow morning before arriving in Seattle for a 3-game series on Friday. Royals also just 2 games back of the Mariners. They finish up a series against the Royals, a 4:40 first pitch a little bit later tonight. There was some panic in Baltimore earlier today. Lamar Jackson knocked to the ground, was flexing his wrist, and left practice early. Ravens spokesman says he just had his foot stepped on and he's fine.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour of Wyman and Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision RLE.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. You guys can weigh in on the Seahawks, weigh in on the Mariners. We just had Tyler Kepner on from The Athletic, talking some baseball with him. He was very mellow. He was very calm, like, yeah, it was ugly. It was bad. There's nobody's going to try to convince you otherwise, but he feels like the Mariners are the best team in this division that nobody seems to want to run away with. As we've talked about, it's amazing how bad the AL West has been. For the longest time, every time the Mariners won, the Astros won. And when the Astros would lose, the Mariners would lose. And that still holds true. The Astros have dropped 6 of 10. They've lost 4 in a row. Mariners have dropped 7 of 10. They've lost 5 in a row. Rangers have dropped 8 of 10. They've lost 2 in a row. Angels are 5-5 in their last 10. They've lost 2 in a row. Athletics are bringing up the rear, but they are killing it. 6 out of their last 10. They've won 1 in a row. So the division is there. Mariners remain a game and a half back. It is right there for them. They just got doors open. They're welcoming you in. Walk right through. Have a seat.
That's why it's easier to remain impartial when you're removed from it, when you're not here every single day and you're not privy to the hypersensitivity of, we have seen this. We see everything that happens that goes wrong. you're the national perspective, and you're looking at the Mariners, and it did kind of sum it up because, we asked him a couple of times, why are you more confident in the Mariners than the Astros? And when he rattled off all those injuries, I was like, yeah, you know what? From the national perspective, you look at the portrait of these two teams right now, they're both playing terribly, but the Mariners are fully healthy, or they're soon going to be really, truly healthier than they've been at all this season. Now, Victor Robles, that return's getting delayed a little bit, and we'll talk about that throughout the show as well. But they're going to get him back. They have the rotation intact for the first time all season. You look at the Astros, and still the hater thing kind of crystallized into my mind. Yeah, they don't have their closer. They don't have Paredes. He's not coming back. Yordan Alvarez is coming back at some point, but he's been out for so long. What do you get? The starting rotation is still kind of in tatters. You have two pitchers. By the way, Framber Valdez got touched up today. He got destroyed early on. So outside of Brown and Valdez, the Mariners are dealing with a full rotation. The Astros have no one. They have, 3 or 4 more starters who are hurt? J.P. France, Luis Garcia, Lance McCullers, Brandon Walter, Hayden Wesneski, Ronel Blanco. From that perspective, it makes sense. From our perspective, Bob, when we sit through it every single day, I get the sky is falling and it doesn't feel great and it just is awful all around. But I do understand why, looking at it removed, you feel better about the Mariners than the Astros.
Yeah, it's look, losing's one thing. I think when you go out there and you just get pounded the way they did, it feels different. There's losing and then there's just getting your butt handed to you and looking like you weren't even competitive. I think that's what makes it worse. And I get the emotion attached to it, and I get the, this team stinks, fire everybody. I understand that in the heat of the moment, but it is right there for them. What do you think is, and I'm curious from the texters as well, what's missing? What's missing? We keep hearing people from the outside, objective voices that aren't attached to this team. They look at it and say they've got the most complete roster in the division. They've got, he was talking about the lineup. I mean, unless you're putting Dylan Moore in there, which you're doing out of necessity right now. You're not doing it because they're trying to get him hot. It's because Canzone got plunked in the wrist, and, you had a lefty up there, so they're going to go with a right-handed bat rather than throw Rayleigh in there. But there aren't really holes in the lineup per se. It doesn't mean Polanco's kind of scuffling right now. He's had a tough run. I think he's hitting under 200 for the month of August, so he's been struggling a bit. But for the most part, Julio's on fire. You got that. Gino's coming to life. Gino's hitting. Cal's Cal. JP's, starting to find at the plate. You don't really have the dead spots in that lineup unless you've got the subs in. When you got Garver in, all right, you feel a certain type of way. When you got Solano in, you're feeling a certain kind of way. But when you got your regulars in there, what's missing? What are we missing when you look at this team?
Well, they can't hit lefties. I don't know why. They struggle against lefties. So if you're a team facing the Mariners, find a left-handed starter, plug him in. The road consistency is just not there. Whether it's the lineup, yeah, and that's
is it Dan?
That's
is
tough.
it a lot of people were pointing the fingers at Dan. Why you leaving Saucedo in as long as you did? He had a bad day. But what is? Can you put your finger on one thing that's missing? It was easy before the trade deadline. You got dead spots in this lineup. You don't have anybody to protect this guy. You don't have anybody to protect this guy. Well, you went out and got the two most prominent bats that have done well for you. Specifically, Naylor has been more consistent. Gino's starting to find it. But now you got your 1 through 5. They went out there and face planted as far as your pitching rotation goes. You've got a decent bullpen. All of the guys that have failed have had pretty much solid seasons, whether it's Bizzardo. I know Saucedo's not really been part of it. But even Legumina has had some really good stretches during this season. I'm not trying to make the case he's your go-to guy, but it feels like for the most part, you're not going to have an all-star at every single spot. They're pretty complete. Why? Why is this happening?
Well, I would put it on the rotation for this road trip. And it's tough to really get a sense beyond that of what this team is because they've only had this group, this Naylor, Suarez lineup intact since the trade deadline. So you had the homestand where it swung wildly the other direction where they almost couldn't lose. The one loss was the extra inning loss to the Rangers. Then you come on the road and you really struggled to find that consistency. You didn't get deep starts from anyone. Brian Wu had to grind to get to 6 innings. And that was do you leave him in? And Dan Wilson did leave him in. It paid off, and Wu went through 6. But outside of that, where he's been the one guy to turn in 6 innings every single start this season, you did not have deep outings from anyone in the rotation. And still, this team is built to have the rotation kind of lead the way. It's a much better lineup. It's a much more consistent lineup. But at the core of this team, you have to have your rotation being closer to dominant than just serviceable. And we got serviceable on this road trip. So I would point to that. And the home road splits we've seen for the starters are such a different, skewed variety of, well, it is a tougher park to hit in here. The Mariners have built their team around that. So if your rotation's like that, even if there is some decline on the road, you have to be turning in outings closer to 6 to 7 rather than get to 5, which is what we saw kind of primarily. Or, like George Kirby and Logan Gilbert really getting knocked around early and not giving you much of anything. So it builds on to each other of, well, then the bullpen has to be used much earlier than you expect. And that's why you keep a guy in for 2 innings the other day, because you had a short start and then another short start on Monday. You didn't know what you're going to get on Bryce Miller. So I think it's all these little things adding on to each other. It's never really as simple as it's this. But in my long-winded answer to try to find a solution, I just kind of tie it back to the pitching.
Yeah, the pitching's not been good on the road. For whatever reason, they don't know. If they knew, they'd fix it. Why it's that way, why it's so extreme, I don't know. It's maddening to watch. It's tough to watch because they're more talented than that. Castillo's better than what he did. Kirby's better than what he gave you. Certainly Logan's better than 2 innings. He was dreadful.
Yeah. But
it just feels like, you look at, if you just isolate those individual moments, you go, well, yeah, it happens, man. Everybody goes out there and there's going to be a dud. It's just going to happen. Problem is they were happening in succession, one after another. You're just going, my God, what is going on? And now Bryce, I kind of removed from that because you didn't really know. His first start back, he was okay. He wasn't terrible, wasn't great. He was just short. I was saying, give me 5 and 3. Give me 5 or maybe 6 and 3 runs. Just keep the team in the game. And he pretty much 5 and 4.
Well, it's kind of funny because the bar had been set so low. I actually came away really pleased, because of that. Because, Kirby struggled and Gilbert struggled. It's like, Bryce, good job. First start back since, early June? You got through 5 innings, okay. 4 runs should be enough against this Phillies team. It turned out it was at the time. The Mariners came back and tied the game. But I was fine with Bryce Miller because the bar had been set so low. But I think that sums up how tough this pitching performance was on this series and this road trip.
Look, even if he got lit up, I wasn't going to go, oh, he stinks. Now, you maybe in that sense you'd make the case, well, was he ready to be called back up? Could he have used another rehab start? They felt like he was ready. And I think he pitched decently. And hopefully he builds on that. Hopefully it was a positive for him in his mind. And more importantly, hopefully he came out of it feeling physically like, well, I'm good. I'm ready to go. I want to, the things that were good, I want to build on those, and the next start will be dramatically different. And I've got faith these guys are going to find their footing. I mean, these pitchers are just too good to be this. That's not Logan Gilbert. This isn't Castillo that we've seen this year. These are back-to-back games where he's not been good. But for the most part, he's been your second-best pitcher this year, Luis Castillo. So I expect it to come back. It's just this stretch, getting dominated in the fashion they did, it makes you feel hopeless, like, oh, this team stinks, they're no good, Dan's terrible, everybody's terrible. But what Tyler was saying was right. Hey, man, get back here. If they sweep the A's right out of the gate, how are we feeling? All of a sudden, we're back. Okay, I feel better. Here come the Padres, who you handled before. We'll see what they do. That's the other thing is, they seem to be struggling they have a losing record against the National League this year. And what did I put in the notes last night? They got 15 games.
They're now 15 and 18 after the loss today. Yeah, they have 15 games left.
15 of their 4 games left. So, almost half your games are against the National League. So, hopefully they can get that part figured out, too.
3 of those are the Rockies.
Hey, didn't the Rockies just win? Didn't they just have a little win streak?
Bar for the Rockies is so low that I think 2 games is considered a great success on the season.
I thought they had a little mini win streak going there. They've won 6 of 10, so there's that. They're 36. They're 36 and 90.
Well, so that in itself shows that every single team goes through the ebbs and flows.
Yeah,
and
Rockies won 4 in a row.
The Rockies have won 4 in a row. No one's going to confuse them.
Well,
they
lost their last game.
So
they had a winning streak.
There you go. Does anyone think the Rockies are a good team? No, they're the biggest disaster in baseball this year. They are even capable of winning 4 in a row. The Mariners somehow swept the Tigers, which looks more and more baffling by the day because the Tigers have picked it up again. They just swept the Astros. The only road trip the Mariners have won, you go back 6 road series. That's the only road series they've won is the Tigers, and they swept them. So teams are going to beat other teams. You're going to go through these slumps. It kind of bores down to how do you feel ultimately about the totality of this lineup and about the rotation. And if you dig all the way down to the core of it, I think you feel solid about this group. The problem is there have been two extremes, and that's the big issue right now. There have been two extremes. The homestand was so good, the road trip was so bad.
Yeah.
So it leaves you wildly confused about what this team is.
That's why I was going, just give me 9 games, give me 5-4.
Right.
Winning road trip, it's not awesome, it's not amazing, but 5-4 would have been respectable, and you come out of it going, hey, man, that's a winning road trip. That's what you set out to do. I'll take it, especially going up against a team like Philly. Even the Mets, even though they were struggling, but man, when you go 2-7, it is, the contrast is so extreme, and it makes it hard to go, it's going to be okay. Even though you look at it and go, yeah, this is a playoff team. I'm still going to say it. They're going to be in the playoffs. Now, are they going to win the division? Is it going to be a wild card? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm with Tyler. We've been saying it all year. I'm stunned that the Astros are still in the position they are based on the injuries they've gone through. And maybe that's what we're seeing now is it's catching up with them. Hopefully the Mariners can take advantage of it. Where are you at with Dan? Because he's, as you've seen on the text or if you're on social media, he takes a lot of heat, and I think some of it's warranted, some of it's not. Some of it right today is born out of emotion. I get it. But just overall, he gave his record. Today was coincidentally game 162, which I didn't know. What do you think?
He's learning in situational settings. I think personality-wise, he is the right manager for this group because this group has leaders in the clubhouse. They're a group that doesn't seem like they take well to a strict disciplinarian who's going to say, this, you got to do this, or we're not, it's my way or the highway. Like, you have to show up and take BP. No, Josh Naylor, you can't do your own thing and not take BP. So with the personalities on this team and the experience they have, you just need that guy, I think, to relate to them, and he certainly can relate to the key players like Cal Raleigh or J.P. Crawford and other veterans on this team. You don't need that kind of heavy-handed, old-school manager where Dan Wilson feels like he understands his players, knows how to give them rest days when they need it, knows their personalities, allows them some freedom when it comes to one person's routine is not going to be the same as everyone else's.
Right.
And it's worked more often than it's not. There are certainly bullpen settings where everything gets really kind of micro-evaluated when it comes to when you pull a starter, which bullpen arm you're putting in, because those have so much weight. So at this point, it's still up in the air. It's still to be determined because he's going to manage key games down the stretch. For me right now, he's done fine, but his most important games are coming up. And that's where the weight of his position kind of takes hold because you're in a division race. And so it's going to get magnified whether you make moves that work out or if you make moves that backfire. To this point, I think you have to say the jury's still out because there are more important games ahead of him.
Yeah.
But right now, they're fine. They're in a decent spot. He has the team that they need, so it is kind of on him and the players at this point, and we'll get a good judgment by the end of the year. That's for sure.
Well, and that's the key part of what you just said there. He's got a lineup that maybe hasn't been here in the Jerry era. I think you could argue this is probably top to bottom the best lineup, looking at it on paper, that they've had. He's got a full complement of his rotation now. Maybe the best rotation, certainly the best rotation maybe in the history of this organization, as we saw last year. So I know they're not functioning that way, and some guys are battling back from injury. They're certainly not the same as they were last year. But in terms of what he has to work with, maybe more than any manager's had is since 01, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a fair statement. So, whether you love Dan, you don't like Dan, whatever your feelings are about him, he's been given the tools now. This is on him. We said this after the trade deadline. All right, we can bitch about what the front office has not done in the offseason. How maybe they should have made moves in the offseason. You wouldn't feel that urgency at the trade deadline and that need to catch up. We can get into that. But the fact is, at the trade deadline, they came through in a way that I don't think many expected they did. So this does fall on the shoulders of the players and the coaching staff. So we'll see. We'll see how this is one. We're in a moment now where you can't go, well, Jerry, this is all your fault. Well, again, we can talk about what they entered the season with, but if we're talking about who they have been since the trade deadline and what they have to work with, you got the pieces. So we're going to see what Dan's made of. We'll see what kind of resolve this team has. This is going to be a tough. I'm glad there's a day off because this is, every one of these guys is going to look themselves in the mirror to throw out the old cliche and say, all right, what can I do better? What did I do? What was my role in this? And it starts with that rotation.
I will say if there's one thing that maybe I've sensed that, and I don't know what actually happens, how much you talk to players or what Dan is saying after losses, but there's one thing I think that has been maybe a confusing absence is the Mariners' inability to kind of take momentum and run with that. Or if something happens where it's a stinging kind of loss or tough setback, they're not able to respond. And I go back to the Baltimore series where that, to me, looms large as the costliest series loss of this whole road trip. Because the Mets, they've been struggling. That's a great lineup, though. And they showed why they're one of the best teams in baseball for most of the season. The Phillies are a juggernaut right now. The Orioles, you scrape out that 1-0 win to build off the momentum of the homestand. Mm-hmm. You have this devastating, heart-wrenching loss in Game 2. You come back and tie it. Then at the bottom of the ninth, it's that walk-off loss. That's not a Dan Wilson decision. That's one of your better relievers, and the other team able to get a hit off him, win the game. But after that, the Mariners looked like a shell of themselves. So if there's one thing that maybe has been missing, it's that, all right, how do we push aside tough moments, and then how do we capitalize on momentum and the realization that we're a good team, we need to go play like that.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that just kind of came to mind as we're talking through this.
Text coming in, 253 says, you're not going to win with Moore, Solano, and Garver in the same lineup. Well, some of that, again, is born out of necessity. I think they wanted to give Naylor some time off. He looked really bad going up against the lefty the night before. Even Goldsmith on the broadcast is, trying to talk about it in a nice way, going, this is a guy who's got great bat-to-ball skills, does not strike out a lot, but he's really had some awkward swings tonight. So I think they're giving him a day off against another lefty. You don't have many options there. You're not going to bring in another lefty to play first base in Raley, who's just getting back. So you got to work with the pieces you've got. That's Solano. And then Canzone, obviously, with being plunked on the wrist, he's not ready to go. Again, you're not going to throw Raley in right field with that lefty up there, so you got Dylan Moore. Now, you could, if you want to make the argument, well, Dylan Moore shouldn't be here, and it should be Mastroboni that's up here, or it should be, who's another lefty, by the way, or maybe it's Samad Taylor. I see this guy put up numbers at AAA. I don't know if he's a 4A player, and when he gets to the big leagues, he's not going to do anything. I know he's got a bit of a track record, but why not give somebody like that?
That's a tough sell in a playoff race at this time when he's been down for so long.
Could he give you less than Dylan Moore has given you?
Yeah,
is that possible?
I guess not. I think the plan is we go with Canzone. That's what the move is. And at this point, it was not enough time to call up. Right. Well, soon you don't have to worry about that. And it's an interesting discussion we can get into at 3:45. I have an idea about Victor Robles because it seems like plan A and the original plan was get Robles back as soon as next week, it sounded like. Originally, that's what DePoto told Daniel Kramer and Adam Jude yesterday. We're still waiting to see what happens. I know he's appealing the suspension.
Yeah.
But that could change a lot and could answer a lot of questions about guys in the lineup and the lack of depth on this bench.
We'll talk more about the lineup. We'll talk more about this Mariner team. Meanwhile, there's one twist on a preseason power ranking poll that does shed some light on a potential issue for the Seahawks. We'll get into that next. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
This place is electric. When we get crowds like this, it's special.
There's something special happening in Soto.
It's amazing getting to, play in front of a sold-out crowd.
The roar coming from the corner of Edgar and Dave is different.
J.P. Crawford with a walk-off two-run home run.
Friday night, the Mariners return home for a huge 6-game set with the first of 3 against the A's. First pitch at 7:10. The push to the playoffs lives on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Dave Wyman joined by another Swedish cyberknife patient to offer a glowing endorsement of their prostate cancer treatment. Tim Hunter, a lifelong local radio host, underwent Swedish CyberKnife treatment for prostate cancer less than a year ago. How did you hear about Swedish CyberKnife?
Well, it was this familiar-sounding voice on the radio telling me about it, and so I thought I'd investigate that. Everything I heard was what I wanted to hear, and so I reached out.
What's it like to go through the CyberKnife treatment?
Well, you go in, you do a 5-day-in-a-row stint. You go to the Swedish hospital, and it's, they say set aside 45 minutes for each treatment. It's really only about 35 minutes of that little robotic arm dancing around you. There's no pain involved. It's just a matter of listening to music in headphones and trying your best not to move.
Looking back on your Swedish CyberKnife experience, what stood out?
It was too easy. It was just too easy. I went through it and I just went, that's it?
Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten, classics are remixed, bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
If you've been considering upgrading your siding, now is the perfect time. Hi, I'm Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. In the Pacific Northwest, moisture is the enemy. Old failing siding leads to hidden water damage, rot, and mold. State Roofing and Exteriors is a James Hardy preferred contractor with over 55 years of siding expertise. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your siding inspection today. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
State Roofing, the best roof you'll ever need.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Luxury has arrived at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. The hotel is open and you can book now at snocasino.com. The destination spa, the expanded non-smoking gaming floor, the big 2,000-seat entertainment space and convention center, and yeah, the new restaurants, food venues as well. Effortless style and the utmost in relaxation. Go to snocasino.com to book. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
I just saw 2 houses for sale. Same neighborhood, almost identical, but one had an Orchard sign and it sold for way more. So I asked my friends at Orchard, why? The first house used a traditional agent. After weeks of price drops and frustration, they settled for less than they'd hoped for. The second homeowner chose Orchard and got more. Their local Orchard agent didn't just list a home, they marketed it. They knew exactly which upgrades would attract serious buyers and brought in a pro to handle everything. And even more, with Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program, the homeowner moved into their new home before their old one even hit the market. They skipped all the hassles and showings. Never settle for less. Get more with Orchard, the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to buy your new home, even before your old home sells. Start with Orchard's free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS for Kids.
Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
This hour of Wyman and Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision RLE.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. You can weigh in on the Mariners, weigh in on the Seahawks. We'll get back to the Mariners conversation, but Seahawks are getting ready for their final preseason game coming up this Saturday against the Green Bay Packers. Dave Wyman is en route to Green Bay. He'll be out there watching the joint practices. He'll be hosting from Green Bay tomorrow and Friday. So it'll be Dave in Green Bay, and we'll be out at T-Mobile Park on Friday.
Yes.
But not at Edgar's.
No.
We'll be up in the booth.
Yes.
Okay.
It's going to be hot on Friday.
Yeah, I'm actually okay with being up in the booth on a day like that. It's supposed to be like 80. We were just looking at the weather app, which it can change in about 5 minutes. But it says it's going to be 86, and then it said 91 on Saturday.
It's always somehow a little cooler in that booth, too, because the sun doesn't go in there, and then the wind will whistle through.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice on a day like that.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Downright cold at the start of the year.
It does get a little frosty in there. Meanwhile, ESPN put out their preseason NFL power rankings and also put who they feel is under the most pressure for each team. For me, I look at it in my automatic response. If you just said, hey, which Seahawk has the most pressure on them? Say, well, it's the quarterback. It's always your quarterback, especially your new quarterback, right? The guy you signed to come in here and hopefully be as good as Geno was, be better. Certainly fans are hoping for better, but you know, you don't want to take a step back in that spot, and the quarterback is the most important position on maybe any team in sports. So that would have been my answer. Their answer was K9, Kenneth Walker III, which I think I get it, but does he have the most? I mean, is he under, and it says he's among 6 starters from the Seahawks 2022 draft class who are playing for a new contract. Like many of them, he still has something to prove. When healthy, he's a tough runner, but Walker's missed 10 games in 3 seasons and chunks of the offseason with ankle and foot injuries. And then they talk about Zach Charbonnet being impressive. That's all true. But you could say that about Reek Woolen. Not about the injuries, just about, hey, this is a big year for him. He's got something to prove. You say it about Boye Mafe. All these guys are playing for that deal. So I guess he's looking at the depth of that position group, but I disagree with him being the guy with the most pressure. I know he's got a contract. He's going to, if it's not with the Seahawks, he's going to have a job somewhere.
Yeah. Whoever wrote that. Yeah. Just what an uneducated. Oh wait, it was Brady Henderson.
Is it Brady?
So,
I
we can disagree. I disagree
love Brady,
too,
but I disagree with him.
Yep.
It's Sam Darnold. Come on, how is it not Sam Darnold?
I wonder if it was just that was the obvious choice, and they're trying to think of a different thing to throw out there. Because in terms of the Seahawks, and this is me just trying to justify what Brady put, because I agree with you, and my immediate thought was Sam Darnold, but Ken Walker's playing for a contract. Sam Darnold has a contract. We know they can get out of it. So, yeah, the Seahawks could kind of extricate themselves from Darnold's contract. Ken Walker, he's playing for his first big contract.
Right.
And for running backs, it's such a fickle nature of getting paid that you really have to show something. If he doesn't latch on with the Seahawks, is there going to be another team that gives him a multi-year deal? Maybe just like a 1 year,
he'll get a 1 year
8-year,
prove it
$8
deal.
million. Yeah, so I get it from that perspective. From pure financial considerations, Ken Walker's got a lot of pressure. But yes,
as well, Reek Woolen,
it's Darnold,
Mafe, Abe Lucas,
the whole 2022 draft class.
Yeah,
they have a ton of pressure on them.
None of them have been extended, right?
No.
So yeah, they're all playing for their next deal. So they all face that looming, hey, am I going to play well enough to get that deal? Whereas all eyes, the spotlights, the conversation, it's not going to center around K9, even if he's healthy and having a great year. All of the conversation and focus on that side of the ball on the quarterback. That's just the nature of the sport. And it's going to be Sam Darnold, and he knows it. And I appreciate that about him. I get that he, like, we went up months ago when Adam was in town, Adam Ray was in town and threw out the first pitch, and Mike McDonald was out there, and we went up to the suite, and Sam Darnold was up there with everybody, and they would. Adam initially wanted Sam Darnold to go out there and be the reliever when Adam did the fall and, I can't throw, calls in for the reliever. McDonald comes out. He wanted it to be Darnold. And Darnold said, let me win some games first. Let me win some games. And that right there, I was like, okay, he gets it. Not that it would have been a big deal if he went out and threw out the first pitch. But, just the idea that he's got to come out here and prove something. And he knows that. He understands that. So I think he'd probably point to himself. If you asked him this question, I would think Sam Darnold would say, yeah, it's me. I playing the most consequential position in all of sports, and I'm the new guy. I'm the new kid in class on a new offense. And everybody's looking at me going, all right, what's it going to be? The guy that played the first 16 games or the guy that kind of reverted back on the most consequential games for the Vikings last year at the end of the season?
Yeah, it always boils down to the quarterback. And especially for a guy who's now dealing with the perception of, well, he's probably not the answer. He's not the long-term answer. That's kind of the perception around him for those that point to those final two games and to the track record of he bounced around here, he flamed out of New York, he was a backup for a few years. All right, now he had this one good season, but his track record beyond that is just inconsistent. So to deal with all that and still have to answer the question of, with the contract you signed, you have some stability, but it's also easy for your team to get out of that and move past it if it does poorly or if it's not to what they feel their standard is. And it gets back to, as much as we feel confident about this offense and what the run game could be and what the offensive line could look like, if you don't have a quarterback who is capable of winning you games, you don't have anything in the NFL. You're just stuck in that same malaise of 9 to 10 wins, never really breaking free of mediocrity or good to not great. So you have to have a guy that can elevate an offense because at some point, and maybe many times this year, it's going to come down to Sam Darnold needing to put together a 2-minute drive, needing to go down the field and win the game for the Seahawks. And then you can't rely on your run game. You can't rely on steadily and methodically moving the ball down the field. You need your quarterback to take control and seize command of the offense. And that'll be the question that he has to deal with. So, yes, for a quarterback, I would always say there's more pressure on him than a running back or any other position.
Any other position. Yeah. Any of them.
And, this is kind of a two-part thing. So it was who has the most pressure and where you are in the power rankings. And the Seahawks, I still think they're a lot lower on the national perspective than we feel like here because we've seen the consensus. It was 17 here. The ESPN in their preseason power rankings. 17th. And they had them at 16th right after the draft. So they're still right there. And all these projections have the rest of the division higher up or more talent on every other roster in the division. So the Seahawks, as a team, have to go out and prove that, all right, look, you're not sold on our offense because I think that's where they're getting knocked. But we, as a sum of our parts, are better than the individual star power of the Cardinals that people think have a more talented roster, or the Niners bouncing back after all those injuries, or the Rams dealing with Matt Stafford's bad back.
Yeah, despite pressure, despite what they've got them ranked, all of that, I still look at this team, barring major injury, which is true for any team, and say this is a playoff team. I'll say this: they're a double-digit win team. Is it going to be good enough to get them in the playoffs? We'll see how the rest of the teams around them do. See what the division's like. But I think this is a 10-win team. I think Dave had them at 12.
Did you guys make formal? We can wait until maybe.
Yeah, I don't think we went game by game, but I think he told me we both said that we think they're a double-digit win team and that they're going to be a playoff team. But we'll see if they prove us right.
Schedule helps that a little bit too. I think this is where you get the benefit of the Rams have to play a first-place schedule. I was looking at their first few games. It alternates between very easy because they play 3 of 4 AFC South teams, and then really tough. Eagles, Ravens, Niners in that stretch. So you avoid that.
Their most consequential player, their quarterback's dealing with a bad back who seems like they're being a little evasive about how bad it is or isn't. And, is he going to be full steam ahead in game one? Talking about Matthew Stafford. So, look, we'll see what those teams do. But just when we're looking at this team and we're looking at this roster, and more importantly, what we've seen in a brief setting, and again, preseason, this is a double-digit win team to me, barring major injury to, Witherspoon's out, Darnold gets knocked out, somebody of great consequence isn't available. All right, that alters things. But as we look at a healthy team right now, I would say if they're not a double-digit win team and they remain healthy, I would be very disappointed.
And if they're not, I think we all are in agreement that it's because of the offense. It would be stunning if they're not a double-digit team because the defense.
If the defense became a liability on some level, and look, the defense is going to have a bad game. That's just, it's like any other sport. They're not going to be just lights out every single game. They're going to have their moments, but I expect by the end of the season we'll be talking about a defense that's in the top 5. Offense, I don't know where they're going to be. We'll see, but overall, I think this is going to be a double-digit win team. I don't think that's drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm not saying they're winning the Super Bowl, but I think they're going to be, certainly I think they're going to be better than what the national media seems to be pointing out. You know, there doesn't seem to be a lot of optimism, and I get that there are questions, but you know, we'll see how surprising they are to those guys. Meanwhile, Seahawks regular season is approaching, and we want to send one of you and 3 friends to watch the season opener on September 7th against the 49ers, the hated 49ers in town. Perfect. All you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app and click the Win tab to find out how. If you don't have the app, all you need to do is text the word app, APP, to 866-979-3776. We'll send you a link to download it. Totally free. You can enter every day to increase your chances to win. The contest runs through Monday, August 25th. Meanwhile, what if the Mariners roster had the chance to immediately improve? We'll talk about what we mean in What If Wednesday. That's coming your way next. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
I might be in love with Clint Kubiak.
Oh.
Brock and Salk.
I did not think I was going to say this at any point, let alone after a second preseason game.
It was just the orchestration of it all, too, wasn't it? It was a symphony of destruction.
I got multiple highlights here that start with Steve Rabel saying,
IBAX behind you.
IBAX. And that's not one word. That's not like IBAX or anything like that. Or like, what are those animals, the ibex?
IBAX.
Brock and Salk. Morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports.
Dave Wyman here, and since I stopped playing football, we've been fortunate to live in the same house for over 20 years. That type of longevity is a good thing, except 20 years in the same house means a lot of things start to break. Most recently, it's our windows. Virtually every seal has broken, and that's why I reached out to Harley Exteriors. Chris and Ray came out to the house, and I could instantly tell we'd get along great, and I'd want to do business with them. They're local, they're huge fans of our teams, and big listeners to the station. Better yet, they have the best product. Olympic Series windows offered exclusively through Harley Exteriors are manufactured right here in Washington and designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. That means cooler in the summer, warmer in the winter. Look up Harley Exteriors for your window replacement. In August, Harley Exteriors is offering 50% off basic installation, no payments for 1 year, and an additional $200 off your project. Call 833-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s. And less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
Summer is the time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your abs or tan. Guys, I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning during Advanced Hair's once yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your very own hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. They are the team that addressed my hair loss, and I recommend them to everyone. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair's summer sales event is on for a limited time. So get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and make the call now while their summer savings event is still on. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Seattle Sports has your chance to win 4 tickets to the Seahawks season opener on Sunday, September 7th. Open the Seattle Sports app, click the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter to win. You can enter once per day, so the more times you enter through the Seattle Sports app, the better your odds of winning 4 tickets to the Seahawks season opener. Do it every day, August 19th through August 25th. Details and rules at seattlesports.com/win. Only from the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay, deep breath.
High five.
You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm, totally natural.
Sweet! Thank you! Thank you! High five, everybody! High five!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five!
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25 for new customers with qualifying bundle. Current customers may be eligible depending on services and area. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
Dave Wyman here, and since I stopped playing football, we've been fortunate to live in the same house for over 20 years. That type of longevity is a good thing, except 20 years in the same house means a lot of things start to break. Most recently, it's our windows. Virtually every seal has broken, and that's why I reached out to Harley Exteriors. Chris and Ray came out to the house, and I could instantly tell we'd get along great, and I'd want to do business with them. They're local, they're huge fans of our teams, and big listeners to the station. Better yet, they have the best product. Olympic Series windows offered exclusively through Harley Exteriors are manufactured right here in Washington and designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. That means cooler in the summer, warmer in the winter. Look up Harley Exteriors for your window replacement. In August, Harley Exteriors is offering 50% off basic installation, no payments for 1 year, and an additional $200 off your project. Call 833-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
What? It's time for What If Wednesday.
Coach would have put me in fourth quarter. We'd have been state champions, no doubt.
Wyman and Bob rewrite the scripts of major moves and moments in sports every Wednesday afternoon. Now step into an alternative reality with Wyman and Bob.
It is What If Wednesday, presented by Mazda of Everett. Today's What If question: what if Victor Robles didn't get a 10-game suspension? And we'll see. He's appealing it, so we'll see if that gets cut. I would imagine maybe 2 games. I could see him getting 8, but we'll see what happens with that. But the question is, what if that didn't happen? How do you think this Mariners team would look next week? I like his addition. I don't love Arozarena in the leadoff spot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's a guy that he's got a lot of chase to him. And look, Robles is not a guy who's working a ton of walks either. He's aggressive up there, but I like his energy and the spark that he brings. So I'd feel better about it, certainly, with him there. I don't know. That's the other wild card, is that much like we talked about with Bryce Miller, I don't want to place unrealistic expectations on Robles, that he's going to get here and all of a sudden he's just 2 for 4 every night and he's hitting home runs and making, brilliant plays in the outfield. Maybe he does, but I don't expect that out of the gate. Now, hopefully he ramps up quick because games are running out, right? There's not a ton of road in front of us. So hopefully it doesn't take him long to get up to speed, and depending on how long a suspension is, will he be ready to go? I don't know.
Well, and here's kind of the second part. I kind of want to add on to this and go beyond just what it would look like. Because whenever they bring him up,
the suspension starts
and they're down a player. And that's what Ryan Divish outlined, and people were confused about that. And we really didn't know, so I wasn't sure either. But yes, when he is there on the roster, they're down a player. So the prevailing notion was, well, you'd wait until September 1st, rosters expand,
yep.
So you're not technically losing anyone. After watching this Phillies series, I think I kind of want to bring him up as soon as possible. And you run the risk of being down a player because right now the bench is bad anyway. Luke Raley is kind of a redundancy. He did not play at all in the Mets series. He did not start at all in this Phillies series because they had 3 lefties. They usually have Canzone in there anyway. You're going to have to send someone down if you bring Robles up before September 1st. Why not send a guy like Raley down who has not been there in any form? It's not going to be popular that you don't say Moore, but they like where Dylan Moore can play all over the field. He's still the backup shortstop. He'll start in right field, obviously. He's a right-handed bat. So if you send someone like Raley down, Robles sits there. If it's 8, if it's 10, whatever it is, he gets these out of the way immediately, and then you have him back. And I counted through this. If it is 10 games, he's back September 1st. If you wait until September 1st, then he sits there for 10 games. He's not getting back until September 12th. What impact is he really going to have? For everything you mentioned, he's been out since the start of April.
Right.
He's not coming back till September 12th. Does that do enough to really impact this roster? With how dire it feels like this roster can be at times, I'm saying go bold, bring up Victor Robles right now. He starts serving that suspension on Friday.
I get the logic in that. Problem is he doesn't get any ABs in that time.
Yeah.
Whereas he's in the minor leagues.
No, so he can't play in the minors anymore.
No, until once the suspension is put in place, then yeah.
Right.
So in the meantime, if they call him up now, I don't know. So, I don't know what the timing is on the announcement.
Yeah, I don't know how long it takes to appeal. I wish we had some insight there.
Yeah, I don't know when that's going to come down. So he's getting ABs right now, whereas maybe you're going to be a little more judicious with his time here at the big league level. Maybe he doesn't get as many ABs until the announcement, and maybe it could be today. Could be I don't know the timing of it at all. So that's the tough aspect of it. But bottom line, I don't want him to miss any opportunities at the plate. To get as many under your belt as you can. And if that means you stay down there and you're going to get 4 plate appearances a night, whereas if you get called up here, you're not going to get thrown into the lineup right away, and maybe they're going to work you in slowly. I'd rather he get that frequency, as much of that as he can, before the hammer drops. And they say, all right, you're now serving your suspension. It's been hopefully reduced to 8 games, 7 games. I don't know. I don't know what to expect in this because I don't recall seeing somebody throw a bat.
And that's why I'm kind of prone to thinking they're not going to reduce it.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that?
A very deliberate, intentional motion for an act that is not... It's not native to the game where, people are like, well, throwing a ball at someone's head is more dangerous. Yes, it is because it's more accurate. You're not going to really hit someone with a bat with how far away he was. But because it's an act that is not in the flow of the game and it was so intentional and an act of aggression, I've never seen someone javelin a bat like that.
No, and people were bringing up when we first talked about it the other day, they were talking about Roger Clemens and Mike Piazza. First of all, he threw it in the general vicinity. He wasn't looking at him throwing, trying to aim for him. It was
he threw it kind of at his feet too, right? Like
it was just kind of like in the general area. I mean, it wasn't close to hitting him. Piazza could have stood still and said, "Go ahead," and it would have still been feet away. He wasn't directing it at him in the way that Robles was. It was a different situation. So that's not apples to apples to me. This is one I haven't seen.
And he chucked the seeds after that, which was pretty impressive.
That we've seen.
That was a pretty good throw.
What's funny is each one, like when we've seen him do the celebrations here and he's picking up the jug, I'm just going, ooh, that shoulder. What are you doing? Don't throw that.
I guess it's good, though.
Yeah.
His shoulder's
I
fine.
think it's his left shoulder, so it's not what he's, carrying most of the weight with. But I don't know. I've never seen that before. Somebody throw a bat at a pitcher, so there's no precedent for it. I don't know if they'll reduce it. I hope they do. We'll find out. But I just want him to get as many turns under his belt as possible before that happens.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's more valuable to this team as soon as possible, especially with getting more major league at bats. So if that is, I don't think my idea is going to happen because you're intentionally putting yourself down a player, which no team wants to do. But you can do things like put him through a mock game, live BP, things like that on the field before the game, even if he's not rehabbing, because at some point he's going to take these longer at bats in the minors, and then he's still going to have to serve that suspension.
Yeah, he's
not
serving
getting that
it
live action.
There or here, it doesn't really matter.
I just want him. It was magnified by watching this lineup over this Phillies series. Just, hey, how do you fix this?
Just say Dylan Moore. That's what you're going to say.
Trotting it out there. Yeah, you don't have to have Dylan Moore starting because there's your right-handed bat in right field.
Yes.
And that's the biggest fix. So, hey, Robles, it looks like it really disrupted their original plan, and it kind of crystallized for me after watching this series of he needs to be back in that lineup as soon as possible.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see what the timing is on the announcement of that suspension. Hopefully it gets reduced by a few games at least. Maybe they'll have no mercy. Hopefully they show a little mercy there, and we'll find out. Meanwhile, what would it take for the Seahawks to land Trey Hendrickson? He's apparently available, according to some people out there. We'll get into that next with Wyman and Bob. It is Seattle Sports on 710.
There's something special happening in Soto.
I feel like that's what happens when you add guys. It just changes the mojo.
That roar coming from the corner of Edgar and Dave, it's different.
This one is going. Goodbye, baseball. Josh Naylor with a home run.
Friday night, the Mariners return home for a huge 6-game set. Mariners, A's. First pitch at 7:10.
We believe in each other and we're ready to fight.
The push to the playoffs lives on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, Viagra is not the answer for your problem. I know you think it is, but Viagra has horrible side effects, and for most men, the longer you're on it, the less it works. Viagra is not a curative medication. It's not fixing your problem. It's a Band-Aid for a shark bite. Acoustic wave therapy is the newest technology that can correct your problem, not just treat it. We can do something that no pill can do. We can restore your blood flow naturally. Get off Viagra today. Change your life like the thousands of men who already have, regardless of your age or your medical history. If you're tired of dealing with Peyronie's disease or erectile dysfunction, then call West Coast Men's Health today.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
For Riverside Roofing, beyond the national accolades is a family company from right here in Marysville that's built upon important local values like trust. That's why Riverside Roofing is the roofing company you can trust. Find them at riversideroofingllc.com.
Beat rising costs at Lake Washington Windows and Doors. For a limited time, get a 20% inflation discount and enjoy easy 18-month free financing with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest. Details at lakewashingtonwindows.com. Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Switching to Progressive is a game-winning call. And that reminds us of other game-winning calls in the history of sports.
It was a doubleheader in August and really hot inside the concession stand. So instead of waiting for people to come to me, I figured I'd walk around yelling, "Hot dogs here!" And that's how I became the first hot dog vendor in sports.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Well, it was an ugly end to the road trip for the Mariners as they get throttled by the Phillies 11-2. The Phillies with 20 hits in this game. My goodness. Mariners just 2 runs on 5 hits, but they get the day off tomorrow. They head home for a 6-game homestand, beginning with the A's coming to town on Friday. Meanwhile, some good news. The Astros lose again, so the Mariners remain a game and a half back in the AL West. They drop one to the Tigers 7-2. It was the Diamondbacks taking out the Guardians in 10 innings, 3-2 the final in that one. And the Pirates take out the Blue Jays 2-1. Other games going on right now, just getting underway. Cardinals and Marlins, no score there in the top of the second. Top of the second in Washington, no score between the Mets and Nationals still to come. Braves host the White Sox. Yankees on the road to take on the A's. Twins host the A's. Rangers taking on the Royals in Kansas City. Cubs and Brewers in Chicago. Rockies and Dodgers in Colorado. And it's the Giants and Padres in San Diego.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Text line is there for you if you guys want to weigh in on the Mariners, Seahawks, whatever's on your mind. 866-979-3776. Taking a look at this Seahawks team as they prepare for their finale of the preseason in Green Bay this Saturday against the Packers. They'll have some joint practices leading into that game. But meanwhile, a big name that we've talked about a number of times. He might be available. He's not available. He's going to be available. He's not. Now it feels like we're back to he's possibly available. We'll talk about Trey Hendrickson from the Cincinnati Bengals, who's in the midst of a contract dispute with the Bengals. This is a guy who's had 17.5 sacks the past 2 seasons. Each season, not combined. I mean, he's a game wrecker. He's a game wrecker, and according to all the stories I've read, the dispute isn't over years or total dollars. That's been agreed to. It's about how much of it's guaranteed. Mm-hmm. And I haven't seen the dollar amount. I don't know what he wants versus what they're offering. But Diana Rossini was on the Scoop City podcast, which, of course, but they were talking about the price tag that the Bengals are looking at when considering a trade for Hendrickson.
From what I understand, it's pretty much consistently been the same, which is they're not only looking for a future first-round pick, but they're also looking for a young defensive player.
What position?
That doesn't have to be a pass rusher. Lots of teams have checked in.
Okay.
For a while. Some teams that I spoke to yesterday, just circling back to see if maybe it was getting out there because something was heating up. Most of them are just saying the same thing, which is it's just going to cost them too much because of the timing of where we are on the calendar.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
Right? Because not only you're going to have to give up this draft capital, but you're going to have to pay them. So you're going to have to do a whole new contract, and most teams have spent a lot of their money.
I think that's very prohibitive. Hearing all that, if that is indeed the price.
This is more of a daydream. I'd love to have the guy on the team. Is it realistic? Maybe the longer it goes on, it becomes, maybe the asking price comes down. Because the part that she points out, which is probably the most punitive to most teams, you don't want to give up a first-round pick depending on where you expect to be, but you got to sign this guy to a new deal. Mm-hmm. And we don't really know what it is he's looking for in the way of guaranteed money versus what he's being offered right now. And how many teams are in a position financially to take that on? If hypothetically, if the Seahawks bring him on now, they've got cap room. Do they have enough for him, or does that mean there's a cap casualty to offset what they're bringing in financially? Meaning, all right, well, we're going to bring him in, but we're going to have to get rid of this guy, or we're going to have to get rid of this guy, or maybe this is the player we have to send back in the trade. In addition to the draft pick, if we're looking at the price tag she's talking about there.
I think, the Seahawks are one of the few that actually do have the cap space, but the problem is that's cap space for what we know is coming with all these contract extensions. So I wouldn't want to see them use that cap space on Trey Hendrickson, especially with what you still have to lock up with the 2022 draft class and then fifth-year extensions for Devin Witherspoon and for JSN. And, Charles Cross, you still have to sign to a deal because that fifth-year extension kicks in, but then you have to pay him. So with all this cap space they have, and they're the sixth or seventh most of any team right now when it comes to cap space, according to Over the Cap, would you want to, though? That becomes the question. Even if the asking price drops. So say the season begins, and we've seen guys sit out for a week. I don't think we've seen in-season holdouts for star players go longer. The Le'Veon Bell thing is so weird. But, like Chris Jones a couple of years ago with the Chiefs. He missed week 1, then they got a deal done. Mm-hmm. But if Trey Hendrickson misses, say, week 1, and then the Bengals like, you know what? We just are not doing it. We want to trade this guy. Hey, just give us like a 5th-round pick, and we know you have to sign him. Then it might get interesting. But would you want the Seahawks to do that, knowing that it would cost you not on this year's team, but probably the next couple of seasons?
Well, I'm not worried about the next couple of seasons because every single year they find a way to manipulate the salary cap. Whether it means, hey, we're gonna restructure this contract, we're gonna turn this into a bonus, we're gonna take this and turn this into an incentive. They do that every single year. So I'm worried about how it pertains to this year. How does it impact this year's team? Next year, financially, they'll be fine. Every year they're fine. Every team does it. Every year we're like, how are the Rams doing everything they're doing? How are the 49ers do everything they're doing? That's why these teams have the capologist whose sole purpose is to manipulate the cap and move money around. It's the shell game. All right, this was here, now it's over here, and now we're calling it this, right? It's how they do it, I don't know. I still, after all these years, don't quite understand the manipulation of the salary cap, but every team gets it done. Every team gets it done.
I think you could say the Seahawks were not fine this offseason. They are now, but they were not going to pay Geno Smith beyond a certain amount. They weren't going to pay DK Metcalf beyond a certain amount.
But was that because they didn't have the money, or was it, especially in Geno's case, was it that they didn't feel like, look, man, you're not a $50 million. I don't know what he was asking. I'm just throwing that number out there. But if they felt like we can't justify it, it's not we can't afford it. We can't justify paying you $50 million a season.
Well, I think justification is because you need money elsewhere.
Well, you're saying that's their motivation for not raising the price tag.
Yeah, you can't always move money around or else you're going to become a terrible team. The Saints are proof of that. They maneuver the cap and they do things to get around it, but they are cash strapped.
Maybe they're just not good at it. The Rams have been doing it for a decade.
Well, the Rams had to undergo a massive overhaul, and they've gotten good again because of draft picks. So they've hit well in the draft, and these are guys on rookie contracts that have built themselves back up. So
but they were doing it when they were signing Cooper Kupp and Aaron Donald and Matthew Stafford, and they were Jalen Ramsey. All of these guys were signing massive extensions somehow, and we sat here going, when is this going to come back to bite them in the butt? Some teams are good at it. Maybe the Saints just aren't.
Yeah, the Seahawks, I think, to an extent, don't operate where they're going to overextend themselves and become fully cash strapped. So whether it gets down to, all right, in future years, maybe that's why they're not signing Hendrickson or not. I think that it gets to the point with Hendrickson where you could certainly make it work this year. I don't know if their calculations are saying, do we want to? Because are we going to want to pay him in the next few years, knowing that we're not in a spot where we might win a Super Bowl this year or even next year? It seems like that would be the issue at this point, because otherwise, why wouldn't you?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what maybe they feel like we've got our guys. Why would we want to disrupt what we've got? Yeah, maybe they look at him as icing on the cake. Like, no, we're pretty good. I mean, certainly you would want a player of that caliber, but it's not a need per se. It'd be more of a luxury item. Maybe they view it that way.
Yeah, it's not a need, but it would make you infinitely better than starting DeMarcus Lawrence, who is your, starting defensive end right now. You have Boye Mafe and DeMarcus Lawrence. And, not a shot on DeMarcus Lawrence. He's 33 years old, though.
I don't know
He's
why
coming
you
off
hate
a
him.
pretty, don't tell him that. He's a terrifying individual. We've seen how he is in practice. He's
I don't know why
he's a
you're
good
ripping
leader.
the guy.
Coming off a pretty serious foot injury and 33 years old. You could argue it's a need because of how good Trey Hendrickson is. So for the Seahawks, if it was just that cut and dried of, you know what, we can sign him this year and afford it, I think they absolutely would. But then the cost of kind of getting back to the original point of this, like we were saying, it's not just going to be for 1 year because you're not going to bring him in without signing him to a contract. So they're not going to do that because it's a ton of money for a guy in Hendrickson who maybe the Bengals also feel is getting towards the backside of his career because he's, 30 years old. And he's going to ask for top of the market price. Nick Bosa is making $34 million a year. Myles Garrett has that massive deal. He's making $40 million a year.
Yeah, Hendrickson's he's 30. He'll be 31 in December.
Yeah. I mean,
doesn't look to be slowing down. Hasn't missed a game in again, 2 years in a row with 17.5 sacks. It's hard to say, well, he's getting on the backside. Maybe he is. Maybe there are things we don't know about physically, but it's not showing up in his production or his availability.
So, yeah, that's why I feel like if it's just that cut and dried of, do you need him to make your defense better? Yeah. I think any single team outside of whatever the Bengals are doing would say we need him to make ourselves better. But you have to build for the long term of the Seahawks are not going to win the Super Bowl this year. I don't think they would do it. I would get very curious, though, if the asking price drops to beyond just a first-round pick and then what else. Because right now, what Diana Rossini said, no one's doing that. That seems like that we refuse to play ball with you. We're just going to ask this insane price because we know no one's going to do it. A first-round pick and a current defensive player, they're not going to get any takers for that.
No, I wouldn't imagine. And you're going to have to pay him.
And pay him,
Yeah, that's them saying, okay, yeah, Trey, we'll acquiesce. We'll put it out there that you're available. But they're going to make the ask ridiculous to the point they're going to go, well, hey, man, there weren't any takers. We put it out there. It was known you were available. So what kind of shell game they're playing there, what kind of chess game, I should say, more importantly, is this just a manipulation to try to get him to come down on his ask of whatever the guarantee is he's got in mind versus what they've got? Are they going to find a way to meet in the middle? And they look, man, you either got this, or nothing, because nobody out there wants you. We're not giving you away. We're not going to do that. So in order for you to leave, here's what we need in exchange. Nobody wants to pay that. So here you are. What do you want to do? So maybe they find a way to bridge the gap when it comes to that, when he realizes teams aren't going to pay the asking price. They don't want to pay you and give up the draft capital and give up, and I don't know what kind of, do they want a starter? Do they want to, she said it doesn't matter the position, but are they expecting somebody who's an impact player, a starter right now? I don't know what those conversations are like, but it's a big ask. Daniel Jeremiah was on with Brock and Salk, and he was asked if he thinks the Seahawks should trade for Hendrickson.
Yeah, I can get on board with that. It's a window thing. When you look at these trades, it's all about understanding what window you're in, and I think this is a gettable division for them right now. So yeah, I would have no problem with that. I mean, I think more so than the whatever you're going to have to give up from a pick standpoint, it's going to be the financial aspect of it that's going to cause some concern.
It's the only. So he likes it, but it's the financial aspect, and again, that's. How flexible everybody is, I don't know. Seahawks do have the cap room, but how they view their team behind closed doors is a bit. We know what they say to us. They certainly should feel confident about this. Look, without him, without Trey Hendrickson, second half of the season, this was a top 5 defense. Now you expected not to take a step back. You expect to maybe be that from the beginning of the season. So if I'm John and I'm looking at it going, yeah, I'd love to have a guy like that, but do we need him? Is that missing? Without him, are we not a playoff team? But with him, we are. Are we a top 5 defense without him? Yes, we are. Okay, well then, yeah, it'd be nice. I'd love to have him, but at that price, he's not fulfilling a desperate need that we have. It'd be again icing on the cake.
Well, and especially on defense, because I don't think any of us think the defense is the issue. So if this is a guy, if this same exact situation is happening with the Bengals and an offentive star.
Yeah,
maybe you look a little closer because that could be
you needed
a
left tackle and it's a premier left tackle. Okay, that's filling a need. Or if this is a center, now it's not going to come at the same price. But if you've got a Pro Bowl All Pro center that's in a contract dispute, yeah, I could see them going, all right, well, let's look at this. This is a guy who's young, who's ready, who's a difference for us. With him, we feel like we're this kind of team in terms of wins. Without him, we're a few steps back.
It's undeniable that Trey Hendrickson would make a team better, but how much better can you really make your defense without making your offense good enough that's not a liability? So, yeah, I think we get to that point in that agreement. It's a fun pipe dream, right? I don't think we seriously think it'll happen.
No,
but
I don't.
To have him on this team, you get really excited about the potential. And then, I would put them as one of the best teams in the NFC, certainly one of the best defenses in the NFC. It was interesting that Daniel Jeremiah thought that just because the division was winnable, that kind of changes their window when it comes to contention or a championship. I don't think you're really competing in the division of this makes you a Super Bowl contender or not. The Rams won the division last year. They were not close to being a Super Bowl contender. They had the Lions. They were the best team in the NFC. They didn't get through the Eagles. The Commanders made it to the NFC title game. You still have all those issues to deal with if you're the Seahawks that, sure, this division might be gettable, but this year, are you a Super Bowl contender? And it's a lot of capital and risk to take on with Hendrickson to get you to the point of saying, yeah, because the division's gettable, we go ahead and make this move.
Text coming in. I'm assuming this one's directed at you, Lefko. This guy's an idiot. NFL doesn't have guaranteed contracts, and DeMarcus Lawrence is a big piece to our defense.
They do have guaranteed contracts.
Some.
They're not fully guaranteed, but that's the big issue.
Unless you're Kirk Cousins, who's had a fully guaranteed
That's true.
deal.
Okay, they do have
Deshaun
fully
Watson,
guaranteed contracts.
Deshaun Watson, fully guaranteed deal. So
that idiot is an idiot, along with me, this guy.
I just assumed he was talking to you. But no, they're not the norm, but there are fully guaranteed contracts in this league.
Well, and you literally
and the Browns are living with them.
That was the sticking point for Trey Hendrickson and the Bengals.
Is the guarantee? Well, I don't know that he's asking for a fully guaranteed deal.
There are guaranteed portions of contracts. So
yes.
You have to pay that out guaranteed. And you're right. Yeah, Deshaun Watson has a fully guaranteed contract.
Oh, the Browns.
So there are guaranteed contracts.
The Browns are ruining the day that they signed that deal. My goodness. Let's see another one. Ralph and Crossroads. Lefko just jinxed the Seahawks. Lefko just said the Seahawks aren't going to make it to the Super Bowl. I didn't know you had that kind of juice.
I cannot believe I have that kind of power. So wouldn't I then have given them the power to go to the Super Bowl?
The jinx would have been the other way if you said, this team's going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Then people would have gone, you screwed it up. You jinxed them.
Also, I love that because this happens during anything you do. Like during a baseball game, when a no-hitter's happening or when a perfect game is in progress and you point out the fact that a perfect game's in progress. Not even mentioning it on air. People really get worked up about that, and I understand their
exhibitions.
I think
it's hilarious.
But even merely tweeting it out or mentioning it or saying MLB has the perfect game banner up, and then I'm the problem.
Yeah.
What a lot of power to have. I don't think, no offense to you, Bob, or to the station, I don't think I'd be working on this show if I had that kind of power
You'd be
to
in
dictate
Vegas.
every decision. Oh, absolutely.
You'd be in Vegas.
And then I'd be running sports leagues and manifesting secret shadow puppet governments and sporting events. But no, with my extreme power, I've chosen to just rein it in to very specific situations of the random off chance of perfect games or the Seahawks making the Super Bowl or not making the Super Bowl. I don't know.
Yeah, I told you my favorite moment with the no hitter was when Dave Sims was here, and somebody went out because I guess he mentioned it on the broadcast. Somebody hit him on Twitter like, "You dummy, you screwed it up. You know you shouldn't say that." And he just wrote back, "Stop embarrassing yourself. Stop embarrassing yourself."
Also, can I add on to that more? Players themselves have admitted that it's a superstition in the actual dugout and in the clubhouse. They're not fans. They don't care about that or people mentioning it.
Yeah, do you think
there's
no
players
fan?
that hear, but players are like listening or like looking out into the stands during the game. Is anyone mentioning it? Are they mouthing the words perfect game? No, it is a in dugout tradition or superstition, and that somehow has gotten kind of misconstrued into anyone anywhere can't say it.
Yeah.
You don't go up to the pitcher and say, "Hey man, you're throwing a perfect game." But a guy sitting in his apartment on his couch can mention that there's a perfect game happening.
You screwed it up for everybody. 360 says Schneider will not do it, period, due to Jamal mistake. I completely disagree with you there. They made mistakes before. They'll do it again. When they see somebody they believe to be a fit, they swing big. They went out and got Jimmy Graham. They went out and got Percy Harvin. They got Jamal. They got Jadeveon Clowney. Yeah, Look, this team is not afraid. If one doesn't work, it doesn't mean the next one's not going to. They went out and got Dwayne Brown. They got a long history of going out and making some big moves. So I'm sorry, I don't agree with you on that one at all. This team will do it if it fills a need. That's my point in this. Is I don't think they look at that as a need. I think they look at it as it'd be nice, love to have that talent on this roster, but are we going to pay that kind of price for something that isn't truly a need for this team right now? So that's why I don't think there's any fear in John about, well, God, we saw what happened with this last deal. We can't do that again. No, I don't buy that one at all. Let's see. Lefko doesn't listen. He hears, but he doesn't listen. Okay. If you trade and pay anyone, it's Parsons or nobody. I'd love to have Michael Parsons on the team.
That's a different situation. He's what, 26?
He's in his athletic prime.
26.
Yeah. That guy is. I mean, look, Hendrickson is. Look, the stats tell you he's available. He's playing 17 games. He doesn't miss games. 17 and a half sacks in each of the last 2 years. There's nothing that says he's on the backside. Now, it could happen quick. We know how it goes in football. That slide could happen quickly. But yeah, I would take him. But Parsons, I would love to have Micah Parsons on this team.
Parsons is more in the prime of his career, as you're getting at, that you can extend him and feel confident that for 4 to 5 years he's going to give you good production, because this year perhaps is not a need for the Seahawks on that defensive end, exterior, outside linebacker spot. But in a couple years, DeMarcus Lawrence is not a long-term answer. Uchenna, he's not going to be back. His contract runs out after 2026. You don't know what to expect out of him. Getting Uchenna back, and if he's healthy, that helps, but that's been the big caveat moving forward over these past couple seasons. He just hasn't been there. And he passed his physical, but he's not cleared yet. So what do you expect out of Uchenna? You can't really say this is going to be a guy that one of our starting spots is accounted for. Mm-hmm. You have Boye Mafe, who, by the way, is on the final year of his rookie deal. You have to deal with that. So in a couple years, and Derek Hall, who will be on the final year of his rookie deal next year, not this year. So that room could undergo some turnover in a couple of seasons. But this year, you are fine, kind of short term. The Micah Parsons thing is just so tantalizing because he is someone to build around for years to come.
Yeah,
outside of Trey Hendrickson might be 2 to 3 years you're getting.
Yeah, I don't. As much as Jerry seems to, I'm not sure why he's handling this the way he is. I don't see him letting that guy go. I'd be stunned if he was playing for another team, unless it just falls apart in a way we don't expect. But this seems to be Jerry's MO. I think he does like the attention. I think he does like the conversation, and eventually everybody will be happy. And Parsons will be a Cowboy.
Yeah, it'll be the Myles Garrett situation, where Myles Garrett was done with the Browns.
I'm out.
He wants to go play for a winning organization.
Yeah.
He didn't come out and demand that trade request like Micah Parsons did, where he publicly posted something saying, "Thanks, Dallas, I'm out." But we had that, okay, there's a definitive goodbye from Myles Garrett, and then, oh no, wait, highest paid player at his position, everything's smoothed over. So that's going to happen at some point for Micah Parsons.
Let's see, 253 said, all of your examples are from when Pete Carroll was on equal footing with John Schneider. I don't think it's the same anymore, and I really do believe some of those moves were championed and pushed for by Pete. Maybe. We'll find out. I think John. I don't think you're giving John enough credit for his role in those moves. I don't think Pete is going to say, "Well, I don't." If John put his foot down and said, "I think this is a bad move. This is a bad acquisition. I don't like it." I don't think Pete's going to go, "Well, tough luck, kid. We're doing it." I think they were equally on board with the moves they made. Some worked, some didn't. But I don't think there's. Point being, I don't think there's any fear in John from what worked or didn't work in the past, more importantly. I don't think he's going to look back and go, yeah, I really want to make this move, whether, hypothetically with Micah Parsons or with Trey Hendrickson, but we did this with Jamal and it didn't work. Well, I just don't think that logic works. You make way too many moves as a GM to look back on anything and go, well, it didn't happen then, so that means I shouldn't do it now. I think if they feel like the right piece is sitting there and it addresses a need, especially for years to come, and hey, this guy fits what we want, his style of play fits what we need, then I think they're on board. I don't think there's anything stopping John from making a move that we look at as a big swing like they've done in the past.
Yeah, and I think it had been the new kind of power structure, even though Pete Carroll was there when they went and traded for Leonard Williams. And then it was definitely John Schneider who extended Leonard Williams. So that's a pretty big move to pay a guy like that. They paid him a significant deal, this past offseason. So they'll make moves, especially when they see that window and they're ready to capitalize on it.
Yeah, and maybe it'll end up, we'll see what happens. Trey Hendrickson, even Micah Parsons are luxury items at this point. Micah could address, certainly we've got questions about maybe the depth at linebacker, and he's, I don't know if you consider him more of a D end or an outside linebacker, whatever his role is. He's a little bit more versatile and where you could use him, but I don't know. I think if they really felt like he addressed a big need, there's nothing stopping John that's from the past. I don't think they're looking at anything in the past and going, well, this is going to dictate what I do in the future. All right, coming up, things are getting ugly between one quarterback and his NFL team. We'll catch you up on everything happening around the NFL. That's coming your way next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
He's the best catcher in baseball.
Pitch to Cal, swing and a drive.
And he's on Seattle Sports, Thursday afternoons all season long. It's the Honey Bucket Cal Raleigh Show.
Presented by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians.
More history for Cal Raleigh.
I love being here and I love these fans in the city.
Catch every episode of the Honey Bucket Cal Raleigh Show, presented by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians, on the Seattle Sports YouTube page, the Seattle Sports app, and seattlesports.com.
Hey, it's Bob Stelton here, and I got to tell you about one of the best decisions I've made in a really long time, maybe ever in my life. And that's when I went to K2 Vision for RLE. That is refractive lens exchange. Now, Dr. Kopstein, who did my procedure, he started K2 Vision with Dr. King from King LASIK, who's the most experienced LASIK surgeon in the Northwest, by the way. So you add those two together, King LASIK and K2 Vision, that equals freedom vision. That's freedom from every stage of glasses, contacts, readers, or cataracts. Now, if you're somebody like me that had a pair of readers in every room of the home, had to carry them with you into restaurants in case you had to read a menu, read a receipt, and if you forgot them, well, then you'd have to have somebody like me. I would ask somebody I was with to read the menu to me or read the receipt to me. It was really just a giant pain. Maybe you struggle with distance vision. Whatever your issue is, K2 Vision RLE could be your perfect and, more importantly, your permanent solution to spending your good active years not needing reading glasses. And the cherry on top is you'll never develop a cataract. So whether it's LASIK, EVO, ICL, or RLE, trust the most experienced team of doctors with all of the experience, all of the data to recommend the very best procedure for you. You can schedule your free Zoom consultation today. Just go to K2VisionRLE.com. K2 Vision RLE, no readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts. Again, K2VisionRLE.com.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
Luxury has arrived at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. The hotel is open and you can book now at snocasino.com. The destination spa, the expanded non-smoking gaming floor, the big 2,000-seat entertainment space and convention center, and yeah, the new restaurants, food venues as well. Effortless style and the utmost in relaxation. Go to snocasino.com to book. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
History, it had the gold rush. Then came the oil boom, the tech boom, but right now it's the Wi-Fi boom, and Xfinity Wi-Fi is booming. Xfinity has everything you need to tap into the Wi-Fi boom with seriously powerful and seriously reliable connection. It's got 99.99% network reliability and incredibly low lag, so your streams are smoother than making a decision on what to stream. And did I mention that you can even connect to hundreds of devices so you, your kids, your parents, your poker group, and whoever else is at home can all experience the Wi-Fi boom with Xfinity. And the Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed, all in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract, all with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply, not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with X5 Complete required for unlimited data, except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better. Better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Enjoying some of the texts coming in. They're always an adventure. 866-979-3776. You can weigh in on the Seahawks. You can weigh in on our What If Wednesday. Somebody said, since it's What If Wednesday, how about what if the Mariners went out and got Micah and Hendrickson? It's like, fair point.
Good idea.
Yeah, it is what if. It's the hypothetical. It's a daydream. So, yeah, why not dream big? But, yeah, you guys can weigh in on the Seahawks, Mariners, whatever you got on your mind. Meanwhile, take a look at some things going on around the NFL. The story coming out of Indianapolis I find really interesting because I get it. Your job as an agent is to stick up for your client, and you got to prop them up as, you know, being a solution to a team's problems. And here's my guy. He's ready to do everything you need. Anthony Richardson's agent called out the Colts since they named Daniel Jones the starter out there. And, you know, basically talking about, well, we're going to have to address the situation. And I'm paraphrasing, but, you know, none too happy about the sequence of events out there. And his client, while loaded with athletic ability, has been bad when available. First of all, biggest problem with Anthony Richardson, he's been unavailable. He's been hurt, a lot of hurt. But when he's been available, he's not been good. He's played a total of 15 games in 2 seasons. He's got 11 touchdowns and 13 picks. He's got a 50.6% completion percentage. And he's thrown for a total of 2,300 yards, 2,391. That's not good. That's not a good quarterback by today's standards, especially the completion percentage is brutal. And this, you're talking about number 4 overall pick. So they've got every incentive to get this guy to where they need him to get to based on where they picked him. But if he's not going to help you win games and they're going, look, this kid, Daniel Jones, is just better right now. He gives us a better chance of winning. That's what you got to do. And for his agent, I get you got to defend your client. I understand that part of it. But to make it seem like he was done dirty on some level, like this is, something about this decision is just unjust. Like, dude, you don't have any ground to stand on here. Your client isn't giving you the ammunition. It's like me trying to bark back at Hombre when he's talking smack about the Phillies. Mariners didn't give me any ammo to fight back. I got nothing. I got to just sit there and take it. He's got no ammo. I don't understand this sort of he's kind of peeved by the whole thing.
Yeah, it's good that he's defending his client. I don't know what the Colts are doing because you drafted Anthony Richardson knowing his limitations, that he had barely played in college, that he had a terrible completion percentage. So if you do want him to be your quarterback, let him be your quarterback and let him go out there. And if he fails, then make a midseason switch. I kind of understand the frustration of why you're not having this guy be your starter to begin the season because he's on a rookie deal. Mm-hmm. He's in year 3. Don't you want to know what you have? Like, what is he sitting around waiting for? At some point, you're going to have to cut bait or pay him. So you need more of a sample size. You're a Colts team that is not anywhere close to being a Super Bowl contender. You were thoroughly mediocre last year. What's the harm in him either developing or being bad? And then you get to that place where you're drafting in the top 5 or top 10 again. They're 9-8 last year or 8-9, thoroughly in the middle. You're not getting a good pick out of that. Daniel Jones, you brought in as a guy that is going to help this team with a lot of holes. So I am confused.
He's filling the spot.
I am confused from the perspective of why the Colts aren't either cutting bait with Richardson or letting him develop. But the way the agent went about it is, yes, completely unprofessional.
Yeah, Colts 8-9 last year.
Yeah.
Second place in that division. What a bad division that is.
Yeah. Thanks, Bob. Jeez.
Yeah, well, you know who was last?
Yeah.
Tennessee.
Worst team in the NFL.
Tennessee
Told
Titans.
you so. No.
3. No, they were tied with Cleveland. Cleveland was 3-14 as well, as were the Giants. So, you had company.
It is good, though. The Seahawks are playing that division this year.
That's good.
You can beat up on the bad teams.
Yeah, it's just in his comment, what do you say? We have a lot to discuss. Trust is a big factor, and that is at best questionable right now. Anthony came back, made improvements in the areas he needed to improve, and by all accounts, he had a great camp. Now, their head coach, Shane Steichen, look, you can talk about, well, they're not going to win anything. Why not just live with the mistakes of this guy? So we see how quickly jobs get lost in this league by head coaches. His job is to go out there and win.
Right.
He's got to give it. He's like, hey, you may feel like we got nothing to play for. I'm playing for my job here. We're trying to win games. And he was asked what naming Daniel Jones the starter means for Anthony Richardson's development.
Part of that is, we threw him into the fire early as a rookie and had some injuries and, been battling some injuries. And I think that's all part of the development, of his game. I think everyone's journey's different. And for the first time, this is an opportunity for him to sit and learn. He's 23 years old. And, if his number gets called at any point in the season, I believe he'll be ready to roll.
Yeah, look, he's got to put out the guy that he thinks gives him the best chance to win. The end. These coaches' jobs or coaching jobs are tenuous at best, and especially with the Colts, right? There's not a long track record since Dungy of longevity out there. So, he's trying to win games, and if he thinks Daniel Jones gives him a better chance to win, then you got to start that guy. You got to go with the courage of your convictions. This is my guy. I think we win more games with him, so he's starting. The end.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it because I guess from the fans' perspective in the front office, at some point you want to build into a cohesive winner. But yeah, the head coach, he's trying to save his job.
Look, if the head
didn't think about it from that perspective. If the front he's on the hot seat if they struggle.
Yeah, or look, if the owner goes, look, Shane, I want to see what this kid is. Run him out there. Look, I'll take the heat. If he goes out there and stinks up the joint, we don't make the playoffs. This is not on you. It's on me. If he gets that kind of assurance, okay. But yeah, these guys are living to keep that job. So I don't blame him at all. I don't know if it'll be a better move ultimately. We'll see what Daniel Jones does there, but Anthony Richardson's got a lot of flaws. Meanwhile, you look at the quarterback situation in Cleveland. Joe Flacco won the starting job. 40-year-old Joe Flacco. What do they got? 18 quarterbacks in that room. They've got
at least.
I think they've got 5, right?
5 or 6. Didn't they sign someone again? They have 5. They definitely have 5.
Yeah, let me look at their depth chart real quick. And that doesn't include Deshaun Watson, who's making the...
Okay, so 6 with Watson then.
Yeah.
Right? Yes. So 5 real quarterbacks who will actually have a chance to play, and then Deshaun Watson's still there because of his fully guaranteed years and dollars contract, which people don't seem to understand still. That's okay.
You're going back at the text.
Well, I don't have to dive into this. Years are guaranteed, essentially. That's the whole point. That's what it means, because you're paying them. You don't have to pay them for every single year, but they're getting paid all of that money regardless. It's okay. We don't have to dumb it down.
Meanwhile, Joe Flacco is your starter at 40 years old. You got Dylan Gabriel. You got Tyler Huntley was the guy they brought in. You got Kenny Pickett, and you, of course, have Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson, who's there collecting money. Are any of those guys your future? Any of them? Could you
one
look
of the
at
2 rookies?
Is that who you look at? Do you feel like Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur is your franchise quarterback in the years to come? Because if I'm a Browns fan, I'm looking at that group going, I mean, certainly allow for the possibility, but do you have a strong conviction about any of them?
No, but anytime you draft a quarterback, you think maybe a year or two, we see what we got out of him, and perhaps Shedeur drop because of the circus and the chaos around him, that he has some raw physical traits that you can mold and develop. But no, you don't really look at this team.
Do you have
and
more
think,
confidence in Shedeur or Dylan Gabriel?
Shedeur.
Do you?
Yeah, I think I do. Better actual passer. I thought you were going to ask me if I had more confidence in Shedeur or Anthony Richardson.
Oh, yeah.
That would be, I don't know, pass on that. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
I don't have an opinion on that one. Yeah, I don't know. The Browns, I look at that room and go, I don't know that if I'm a Browns fan, that I'm looking at any of those guys going, he's our guy in the future. Maybe he's not now. Maybe he's not ready now. Doesn't mean doesn't mean that Shedeur couldn't turn into that guy, or Gabriel even. It doesn't feel likely, but it just goes with the Browns. The absolute uncertainty at that spot for that franchise for years and years and years and years. All right. Meanwhile, one division rival is dealing with a potentially major issue on their roster. We're going to hear about that when we sweep the dial. Coming up with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
This place is electric. When we get crowds like this, it's special.
There's something special happening in Soto.
It's amazing getting to, play in front of a sold-out crowd.
The roar coming from the corner of Edgar and Dave is different.
J.P. Crawford with a walk-off 2-run home run.
Friday night, the Mariners return home for a huge 6-game set with the first of 3 against the A's. First pitch at 7:10. The push to the playoffs lives on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Dave Wyman joined by another Swedish cyberknife patient to offer a glowing endorsement of their prostate cancer treatment. Tim Hunter, a lifelong local radio host, underwent Swedish cyberknife treatment for prostate cancer less than a year ago. How did you hear about Swedish cyberknife?
Well, it was this familiar-sounding voice on the radio telling me about it, and so I thought I'd investigate that. Everything I heard was what I wanted to hear, and so I reached out.
What's it like to go through the cyberknife treatment?
Well, you go in, you do a 5-day-in-a-row stint. You go to the Swedish hospital, and it's, they say set aside 45 minutes for each treatment. It's really only about 35 minutes of that little robotic arm dancing around you. There's no pain involved. It's just a matter of listening to music in headphones and trying your best not to move.
Looking back on your Swedish cyberknife experience, what stood out?
It was too easy. It was just too easy. I went through it and I just went, that's it?
Treat prostate cancer with Swedish cyberknife. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate.
Everyone always asks me, what were your top reasons for choosing Advanced Hair? Well, allow me to share, along with some details, on, get this, their once-a-year summer savings event. Okay, first off, Advanced Hair stands by the results, and I'm living proof those results are second to none. With Advanced Hair, your own natural hair is guaranteed to grow. Secondly, Advanced Hair combines top-rated physicians with modern technology, creating a concierge quality experience that blew away my expectations. And lastly, Advanced Hair's Advanced FUE begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. It is quick, simple, and easy. Now, if you have a flexible schedule this summer and you've been waiting for that special savings opportunity, well, it's here. Advanced Hair's Summer Savings Event will get you the most hair for your dollar. It's their best offer ever. For details to schedule your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. Your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Seattle Sports has your chance to win 4 tickets to the Seahawks season opener on Sunday, September 7th. Open the Seattle Sports app, click the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter to win. You can enter once per day, so the more times you enter through the Seattle Sports app, the better your odds of winning 4 tickets to the Seahawks season opener. Do it every day, August 19th through August 25th. Details and rules at seattlesports.com/win. Only from the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health. It's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Looking for an epic summer night in Seattle? Be here for the Mariners Drone Show at T-Mobile Park this Friday, presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
It is Grand Salami time. Cal Raleigh with his 3rd Grand Slam of the season.
The team is taking on the A's at 7:10, and after the game, we'll be lighting up the sky with hundreds of drones, celebrating Mariners icons past and present. Don't miss out on a jaw-dropping post-game show.
He got him. He puts him away, and the ball game is over. Another phenomenal save by Andres Munoz.
Head to Mariners.com to grab your seats and see the full lineup of special events, including Kids Appreciation Day this Sunday and the Logan Gilbert Funko Pop giveaway September 8th to 10th. Plus, check out a great slate of marquee interleague matchups against the Padres, Cardinals, and Dodgers.
Julio clubs this deep out to left field and gone. Julio for the 2nd time.
Mariners baseball. Try dance up.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
After Matt Stafford's first practice earlier this week, Sean McVay says it's too early to make a decision on whether he'll be ready for the opener.
I think that would be putting the cart way before the horse. I thought he did a good job today, and, we had 26 plays of team, and he did a really nice job of managing the huddle. I thought he saw the field well. I thought he went where the ball should go and looked good, but, I don't really have any updates. I think there was a lot of intended information, but there's no updates. We're going to keep it a day and really a week at a time, but it's great to be able to see him out there today, and, we'll see how this afternoon goes and tomorrow.
All right. The uncertainty makes me feel good. I like it. I don't want anybody to be hurt, injured, but look, if he's going to be out for a while, I'll embrace it.
Remember we were talking about that injury? You don't really hear about that. The aggravated disc in his back.
Yeah.
So the nature of that, because it's so obscure, makes you optimistic that it'll be something he deals with all year.
Well,
in a purely competitive way of the Seahawks and the Rams. It's not his physical pain.
I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
Like I've had tremendous back issues with herniated discs, bulging discs. I've never heard of an aggravate. I mean, I was getting epidural shots, I was getting acupuncture and blah, blah, blah. I was doing everything. But I had never heard anybody mention aggravated disc, so I don't know what that means. All I know is and I know a lot of you listening can relate, back issues impact everything. Like everything hurts. So the idea of going out there and twisting and firing a ball, like probably depending on how bad it can be, maybe he's feeling pain down the back of his legs like I was, and every little twist, everything, it's that sensitive. Like bending down to pick up a sock off the floor is excruciating at times. So I don't know if he's in that kind of situation. If he's practicing, he's obviously not, but it can get there.
Yeah,
pretty
you
easily.
Wonder about contact.
Yeah,
he's gonna get hit at some point during a regular season game. Could that flare up? Could that re-aggravate the aggravation?
Yeah.
Something like that. So it's something that's not going to go away, and it makes for an interesting picture of how this division will play out.
Sweeping the dial.
ESPN's Adam Schefter thinks it's more likely that Micah Parsons is not a Cowboy in the near future.
I just think that, Dallas always has drama. Jerry loves the drama. He likes to create the drama. And there's going to be drama with this now and going forward. For all I know, the two sides decide to sit down at the bargaining table and they hammer out a deal that makes Micah the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Could that happen? Yes. There's zero indication, that that's going to happen, that there's going to be a reverse. And it sounds like at some point in time, whether that's now, after the season, after 2 seasons, it sounds like the two sides are headed towards a divorce at some time.
All right. Well, let's see where he lands. I would love to see him in Seahawks colors. That would be wonderful. That's another one. I haven't seen what, I know Jerry from his part has said that they had a deal worked out. Basically verbally we worked out the deal, and Micah's like, no, we didn't, and you were talking to me without my agent there, blah, blah, blah. But I haven't seen the parameters of what they're offering versus what it is he wants, much like Trey Hendrickson. You get some vague numbers, but it's always about the guaranteed money. It's always about that. So what he's asking versus what they're offering, I'm not sure, but that tells other teams who may be in the market for these players, here's what you're going to have to contend with. He wants X amount guaranteed. That's why this situation is where it's at, because he wants this much. Are you going to be able to pay that much?
Well, I would imagine, because this is his first contract and because his play has backed it up, that he's asking to be the highest paid at his position. So TJ Watt signed that 3-year, $123 million contract just this offseason.
How much was guaranteed?
It is $108 fully guaranteed, $108 million
of
fully guaranteed.
122, is that what you said?
3 years, $123 million.
123. Okay.
So all but $15 million guaranteed. So Micah Parsons, maybe he's asking for $110 million guaranteed. And if you're Micah Parsons, you could ask for that right now, because this is not a this year decision. He's under contract. He has that 5th-year option picked up for this year. This is a long-term thing.
Yeah.
And I could see what Adam Schefter's saying, that in the near future, the Cowboys aren't getting rid of him this year, but after this season, and he's probably gone if they don't do something, or maybe they trade him in season if it becomes too prohibitive.
Wait,
but
is this his 5th year?
This is his 5th year.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was drafted in 2021. So they picked up his 5th-year option.
And then they could tag him.
Right. So they could tag him over the next couple of years. So he's not necessarily going anywhere immediately, but it's going to get expensive. And it sounds like the terms are not good.
Mm-hmm.
If the relationship has completely broken apart, at some point you just have to cut ties.
It just seems odd that Jerry's drawing the line in the sand with him. And he didn't do it with CeeDee Lamb. He didn't do it with Dak. He didn't. You can go through the list of people he's just given truckloads of money to, but a guy who's viewed across the league as one of the elite defenders in the entire game, and for a number of years since he's been in the league, that this is the guy you're going to do that with? It's just odd.
Sweeping the dial.
MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred was on ESPN during the Little League Classic and said that realignment is coming to baseball whenever expansion happens.
I think if we expand, it provides us with an opportunity to geographically realign. I think we could save a lot of wear and tear on our players in terms of travel. And I think our postseason format would be even more appealing for, entities like ESPN, because you'd be playing up out of the East, out of the West, and that 10 o'clock time slot where we, sometimes get Boston, Anaheim, would be two West Coast teams, and that 10 o'clock slot that's a problem for us sometimes becomes a real opportunity for our West Coast audience. So I think, I think the owners realize that there's demand for Major League Baseball in a lot of great cities, and that we have an opportunity to do something good around that expansion process.
Boy, that music, holy mackerel. Jeez. I've seen a couple different proposals. Jim Bowden did one out there. Let's see.
Seemed like an easy division for the Mariners based on Bowden's proposal. I don't know
Well,
if
he
I'd
didn't.
want that.
He got rid of American National League, right?
Yeah, he went divisions, and he went strictly geographical, essentially. So it was like the A's.
Here we go.
And the
I got his.
You got it,
Yeah, so he's got just East, Red Sox, Mets, Yankees, Phillies, North, Reds, Guardians, Tigers, Blue Jays, Mid-Atlantic, the Orioles, Charlotte, expansion team, Pirates, Nationals, Southeast, Braves, Marlins, Nashville, which would be the expansion, and the Rays. And then on the other side, he's got the Midwest, Cubs, White Sox, Brewers, Twins, Southwest, Astros, Royals, Cardinals, Rangers, Pacific Coast, the Rockies, the A's, the Mariners, the Giants, and then the West would be the Diamondbacks, the Angels, Dodgers, and Padres.
Easy division. I don't think I'd like that.
Yeah,
Especially if you're strictly playing those teams for most of the year.
Yeah. Here's one more I saw. This was from another writer, Stephen Nesbitt from The Athletic, and he's got it broken down American League and National League. Okay. So I won't give you all of them, but for the American League, he's got the Mariners in the AL West, which would be the Las Vegas Athletics, the Angels, the Salt Lake City / Portland, whoever, assuming that's one of those, and the Mariners. That would be their division.
They are much easier divisions. I just don't know if I'd like
pure
geographical
no more
realignment.
Astros, no more Rangers. But yeah, so you still have the Angels, A's, and then whichever expansion, whether it's Salt Lake or Portland. I don't know. Be kind of interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And then the NL West looks the same pretty much. The Diamondbacks, Dodgers, Padres, Giants. Yeah, a lot of his proposals the same. I don't know. I kind of like American League, National League.
Yeah.
I don't want to do away with that.
Yeah, keep leagues.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
I like that. All right, coming up. Oh, boy. I can't even tell you how many texts I've gotten from this guy throughout this series. He's sending me pictures today of him holding a broom, wearing all Phillies gear. And I texted back where I could find a spot to stick that broom. But he's going to join us next. El Hombre, Michael Bradley, coming up. Buckle up, everybody. I think he's going to be in a really, really salty, spicy mood. He's going to stick it to us. So he's coming up next. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710.
I might be in love with Clint Kubiak.
Oh. Brock and Salk.
I did not think I was going to say this at any point, let alone after second preseason game.
It was just the orchestration of it all, too, wasn't it? It was a symphony of destruction.
I got multiple highlights here that start with Steve Rabel saying,
IBAX behind Drew.
IBAX. And that's not one word. That's not like IBAX or anything like that. Or like, what are those animals, the ibex?
IBAX.
Brock and Salk. Morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
When your outside matches how you feel on the inside, that's kindness. And so I think that is the one thing that the Lee Johnson Auto family encourages us, is to be like really authentic and really be intentional in how we treat our customers and how we treat each other.
To have a good company, have a good culture, have a good crew that takes care of your customer base, you have to take care of your crew. You can't have miserable people and expect them to give a customer a good experience.
Walking in here, meeting some of the employees already before I was even hired on, welcoming me in, gave me a good indication what this company was all about. So if I were to make an hour and a half drive here and to have fun here for 8 to 9 hours a day versus if it's the other way around, then I'll take it.
It's not a script. It's a belief. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
When the weather changes, your home shouldn't be the one left unprepared. Hi, I'm Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. We offer the strongest solutions in roofing, siding, decking, windows, and gutters, made for the Pacific Northwest. And right now, get 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 24 months or up to $3,000 off your next project. No gimmicks, no stress, just reliability you can count on. Visit stateroofing.com or call 866-ROOF-ROOF to schedule your free estimate today.
State Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today.
Beat rising costs at Lake Washington Windows and Doors. For a limited time, get a 20% inflation discount and enjoy easy 18-month free financing with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest. Details at lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text FORCE to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text FORCE to 42424. That's FORCE to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan announced on their flagship radio station that wide receiver Demarcus Robinson is expected to be suspended for the first 3 games of the season for violation of the league's substance abuse policy. Meanwhile, around baseball, the Mariners are still a game and a half back after the Astros were swept. They're now kind of on wild card watch because the Royals, just 2 games back, have taken a 3-1 lead over the Rangers, bottom of the first inning there. And the Mariners' next opponent, the A's, up on the Twins, 1-0 in the bottom of the second. The Vegas A's finish up the series in Minnesota tomorrow before coming to take on the Mariners' 7:10 first pitch on Friday night.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
Yeah, you know what you can get me, Pee-wee?
What? El Hombre. That was a catastrophe.
I know.
That's a new low. Roz is better. El Hombre. The natural meets Rudy meets... I don't even know how to describe it. El Hombre.
He's here, everybody. Normally, we look forward to speaking to this man each and every week. Tuesdays at 5 o'clock, but we're preempted with East Coast baseball. Playing some team called the Phillies. I don't know. I guess they're pretty good. I don't think he's looked forward to an appearance more than this one. I think it's safe to say. He's with us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. He is El Hombre, Michael Bradley. Go ahead.
Hey, how'd y'all make out today? Winthrop, Valentine. How did you do this to us? Oh, we made a bet.
I can't believe what a troll you've become. I'm just getting text after picture after text throughout this series from Michael Bradley. Hey, you happen to know any baseball scores from today? Hey, what's going on? Boom! And just emojis and just
emojis, really?
Yeah. His latest creation was just a picture of him in all of his Phillies gear holding a broom.
Beautiful thing.
I can't. As I was saying earlier in the show, I brought up that you're a troll, but I was like, I don't have anything. I can't come. The Mariners gave me no ammunition. I can't. There's nothing I can say to you. You earned it. They earned it. They slaughtered the Mariners. The Mariners should take a bus home. They didn't earn the flight. It was embarrassing. And look, Phillies are a really good team, man. That team is loaded. But I think the Mariners helped make them look even better than maybe they are.
Well, and the funny thing is, you saw a Phillies team that I didn't recognize. This was a resilient Phillies team. This was a team that would get up, and then the team came back a little bit, and then they kept extending their lead. Used to be the Phillies would get 4 or 5 runs, and that was it. They got to hold on. If the other team scored more than 4 or 5, they were done. So this was a different 3-game set. Now, it's entirely possible that they play Washington this week, that they could score 4 runs total in the 3 games and go back to looking like a horrible team because that's the way they play. So you got the Phillies at their best. I mean, Harper had 2 bombs on Monday night. I was at that game. Tuesday night, Real Muto, of all people, he's got like 8 homers the whole year. He hits a bomb off your guy who's had let up 1 homer all year before that one.
Yeah.
And then today, everybody hits. It was nuts. They had 2 games total, 41 hits in the 2 games. The highest 2-game total in a series they've ever had. So you got the best of the team, and it was unfortunate for you guys because there's no way they're playing like that the rest of the year.
Well, Michael, let's get to the part that everyone cares about here. How was the heckling on Monday night? What are some samples they threw out there?
You can't heckle the Mariners.
You didn't even heckle them. Oh, ouch.
No, well, first I was sitting with my wife, and she hates it like when I get a little too involved. First of all, I had 3 women sitting in front of me who talked about everything but baseball for 9 innings. It was grueling. And I'm looking, even my wife was kind of like, what the hell's going on here? I booed the umpires at the beginning. She got upset. When Romano gave up that 3-run home run, you would imagine that, I don't know what. It was the biggest, one of the most loud, angry, just surly booing that I've heard in a long time. And she's like, I don't think it's right that they should be doing that. I'm like, he's making $8 million a year. They should absolutely be doing. He's a terrorist. It's horrible.
Jeez. Yeah, somebody's pointing out, what about when the Phillies let us down and got swept by the Astros? We looked to you for a little help. You guys couldn't manufacture anything in that series, and then you just unload on the Mariners.
Right, and that's what I mean. This was this team that I saw in the last 3 games. I'm saying, who are you? You were wearing the Phillies uniforms, but you didn't resemble this team at all.
Everybody's out there stealing bases. Trey Turner is just going nuts in this game. I mean,
today. It was unbelievable.
Oh, it was ridiculous. And they were just running. Bryce Miller was just way too slow to the plate, and everybody was taking a base. Your manager could have come out there and
tried to steal. The first base coach tried to steal.
It was just bad. I mean, there was one game, the middle game was somewhat competitive. The other 2 were just absurd. It was just Yeah, so now the Mariners are licking their wounds, and luckily for them, the Astros have completely face-planted at the same time. So they remain a game and a half out of first place, yet they're now the third wild card as opposed to the first wild card. And part of this, Michael, I don't know if you agree, but I don't like seeing my team struggle like this at all. There's no part of it. But I do love that every game means the world. We're getting that point of the season where I'm looking at every game and I'm looking at what did the Astros do? What did the Yankees do? What did the Rangers do? What did the Red Sox do? You know, you're keeping tabs on everybody. And to me, that's part of the fun. I could do without what happened on this road trip, certainly, but part of the fun is every game having that much attached to it.
Now, you know me. I get irate on April 18th and May 4th and June 11th. I mean, I'm not made for the baseball season because I'm set on stun at all times. But there is really something to be said for getting to late August and early September. And, because it's funny, football season starts and you really direct so much of your attention to football. But then you get these baseball games that mean something. The weather gets colder. You're worried about, is it going to rain? Because, sometimes you get stuff going on like that. It's really fun, and scoreboard watching and standings watching, and now that there's 3 wild card teams, one night the whole thing could change completely. So it's really it's a fun time, and as I said on the program before, if you're a Mariners fan, yes, you want them to make the playoffs. Yes, you want them to win a playoff series. I get all of that, but you also want them to be here now. You don't want them to be in a position in August where it's like, all right, what do we got to do in the offseason?
Yeah. Michael, kind of along those lines, we were just talking about Rob Manfred's comments about potential MLB realignment and what that might look like. It sounds like you are not a fan. I'm not either. But what did you think about when you heard that and about some proposed new divisions that this could look like?
I am not happy at all. If they put the Phillies in the junior circuit, the Phillies are, listen to this, the oldest tenured team that has not changed its name and has stayed in the same place in all of American sports. They go back to 1883 as the Philadelphia Phillies in Philadelphia. And it would be horrific if they put them in the American League. And then you look at the division they're going to put them in. Oh, that's great. Let's have the Mets, the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Phillies. That's fun. Every year you go 90 and 72, and you can't even get near the playoffs. So I don't like this. This is Manfred trying to he's trying to get West Coast matchups in the playoffs so that you don't have Boston and Anaheim at 11 o'clock. I mean, like Anaheim's never going to make the playoffs again, but still, you don't have he's trying to do this for television, and whenever you start doing stuff like that and messing with the natural order of things in sports, you end up in trouble. This is sort of like, oh, let's do new Coke. All right, that's going to really work, okay? Because people like Pepsi, and it's a little sweeter. So I don't like it at all. I don't like messing around with. I mean, look, in 1970 they had to bring they're bringing 9 AFL teams in. They had to even it out. They had to move the Colts and the Browns and the Steelers, or 10 AFL teams. They had to move them to the AFC for balance. You had to have balanced conferences. This is not that situation. This is you're trying to manufacture TV audience, for late night games, and I don't think it's going to work.
Well, and they, presumably to accommodate 2 new teams, right? They're going to. This is proposed realignment when they expand. And I've seen a couple different ones. I've seen that, Jim Bowden's got no American League or National League.
Right.
He's just got East, North, Mid-Atlantic, Southeast. He's got that. And then I've seen others that it's American League, National League. Is there any form of realignment that you've seen that you're like, okay, that makes sense. I could live with it?
Yeah. The only form would be, okay, if you're going to bring in Nashville and, what do we say, Portland?
Or Salt Lake.
Salt Lake or whatever.
Charlotte, I think, was the other.
One goes per league. Mm-hmm. And right now, if you look at the divisions right now, I mean, I get it. It's 3 5s, and that's symmetrical. Maybe you break up the leagues. You say, all right, we're going to go. I don't know how you do it, but I don't like realignment. I don't think that Nashville is really sitting there saying, "Boy, we want a baseball team." I think it's the owner saying, "We want a fat expansion fee from you." I don't think that Portland or Charlotte are traditional baseball towns. What are you going to call the Nashville team? What do they call them? The bachelorette parties, because that's what Nashville's known for. We're going to have. You can already see it. They're going to have some stupid logo with a guitar on it. Okay, so and it's going to be all sorts of country, and they'll have their City Connect jersey will be like denim because they're going to we'll have cowboy hats. It's like, come on, man. So I just think it's baseball's trying to get more money for its owners. I don't think it's going to work out. I do like the fact that the Friday Night Baseball is going off of Apple. I like the fact that NBC will have Sunday Night Baseball. I mean, that's cool. They're now going to have Sunday Night Baseball, football, and basketball, which will be kind of fun. But I just don't think that breaking up these traditional divisions is going to be a good idea.
Michael, by the way, let me ask you. You brought up the City Connects. Are there any that you've seen that you like? Because I don't like any of them.
Zero, zip, none. And the Phillies have the worst. The dark blue into the black with yellow. Now I do have a City Connect hat that's you don't wear it. It's a light blue hat with the thing, which I like. But no, those jerseys, they are grotesque. And everybody, you turn on a game and it's like, what am I watching? Did they start a European league and somebody got the rights to that? Is this softball? Is it? It just looks so poor, and to me it's short-sighted. And but I'll tell you what, in Philadelphia, a whole lot of knuckleheads are buying these jerseys.
Yeah, that's the point of it, right? Moving merchandise.
Young people have no taste.
Well, I was going to ask, Michael, what you described is verbatim what actually is already in Nashville. So I didn't know if you actually knew that that's what the AAA stadium looked like. But I was like, that sounds familiar. And lo and behold, their scoreboard is a guitar. And their team name, the Nashville Sounds. So you're right. It already has spread to Nashville.
Well, I mean, yeah, exactly. So it's going to be, they're going to always have, singing the national anthem is country singer, whatever, Dirk Bogard. And say, can you? It's just I don't like it. I want to hear like the country singer singing "Oh Canada" when Toronto comes to town. That'll be funny. And Portland's not going to support a baseball team. So and you're going to add Nashville and Charlotte. The Braves are not going to be happy about this because the Braves right now own the South. I don't count Florida as the South, but I mean if you're from South Carolina, you're from North Carolina, you're from Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, you're a Braves fan. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to bring at least one team in and start cannibalizing the Braves fans? They're not going to like that at all. I mean, not that the Braves are unhappy. I'm happy. But still, they're not going to be too happy about that.
Michael, now that you saw Cal Raleigh up close, if you were an MVP voter in the AL, you what? Sorry.
I saw him go 0-for-5.
You didn't see the home run? That's true. You saw him on a bad night. But now that you saw him, you got to watch an entire series. What would your MVP preference be at this point, Judge or Cal Raleigh? Or is there someone else that you would give the vote to?
No, I mean, I hope Cal Raleigh wins it. I mean, he's a large mammal. I'll tell you what. When he got up, I said to my wife, here he is. It's the big dumper. Oh, I don't like that name. I said, neither does his mother, but it's still a pretty good name.
He's a large mammal.
He is a big dude. Now, I'll tell you the funniest thing ever, because as you know, and you saw from the picture I sent you, Bob, our seats are close to the field.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I ever saw was when we went to see him play the Yankees, and first up comes Giancarlo Stanton. I'm saying, wow, he's huge. And then Judge is behind him. And he looks like, he could take 2 bites out of him and he'd be gone. Judge is gigantic, too. So, it's going to come down to what happens with the Mariners and with the Yankees in terms of their standing. I mean, right now the Yankees are falling behind the Blue Jays. Their record is only just a couple games better than the Mariners. If they both end up in the wild card, then I think Raleigh has a chance to win it. But he's got to keep hitting homers. He's got to get to like 55. He's got to put up a really big number to make everybody notice him.
Hey, as far as this series goes, how much of it do you think? Obviously, the Phillies are a very good team. The Mariners they didn't do anything well. But how much of it is we've been hearing all year about how down the AL is and how the NL is just superior. How much of that did we see, do you think?
I don't think we saw any of it because, this was the back end of a road trip for the Mariners. The Phillies got to come home after being on a long road trip. They had a 10-game road trip, and they got to come home. Monday was their first game being back. You had three pitchers for the Phillies who really went at it. I mean, Suarez, Sanchez, and Luzardo are three pretty good pitchers and have been this year. And I also think that the fact that they found out on Saturday/Sunday that Zach Wheeler could be done for the year and he had blood clot removed. I don't know if you guys got that news out there.
Yeah.
Blood clot, this isn't like a strained oblique, okay? This is a serious business. That thing can travel and cause some real problems. So he had that removed on Monday, and I think the team sort of said, look, we got to come together now. We lost our ace. We lost our hoss. We got to play differently. And it seemed like a different kind of team. It was way more resilient. So I don't think it was National League, American League. I think it was the worst case scenario, the perfect storm for you guys, facing a team that's coming home in front of a very loud crowd, and also a team that wants to show that it's not done just because its best pitcher is not going to be back.
Michael, has your excitement for college football started to wane at all, or started to kind of lag with all these changes every year? Now, the Big Ten and the SEC want 40-some teams in the college football playoff. The transfer portal's out of control. Teams are literally trading quarterbacks. Has it started to kind of taper off a bit, or now in a little over a week when all these teams start to play for real, or even this Saturday, I guess, can you compartmentalize around the issues that are kind of pressing on the outside of college football?
Chris Schenkel used to say it the best: the color and the pageantry. It's still, you still got the bands, you still got the teams running out of the tunnels, you still got Virginia Tech coming out to enter Sandman, you still got, the 12th man at A&M. I was talking to my son today. I says, what do you got going on this weekend? He goes, well, we got Farmageddon on Saturday. Kansas State against Iowa State over in Ireland.
Dublin, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, and the best part is the shirts are over there. They go Farmageddon. So, they're staying with the Irish theme. So, and the large team starts on the 30th at 7:30 on NBC against those New Mexico Lobos, and I'm ready to go. I'm going to have the shoulder pads on and doing up downs and everything. I will not allow it. I will not allow my enthusiasm to wane for anything, but especially not college football.
Hey, real quick, did you see the story with the Colts? They named Daniel Jones their starter, and then Anthony Richardson's agent came out and go, well, trust is a hard thing to come. We got some things to discuss. Kind of acting like the organization did his client dirty. And when you look at it, at the numbers, they're bad. And you look at his availability, it's been really bad. It just, I get you got to stick up for your client, but this doesn't seem like the right avenue. There's not much material for him to work with in his defense.
No, there isn't. That's an agent's job. But no, look, Daniel Jones, here's the thing that's the difference between Daniel Jones and Richardson. Daniel Jones, for all of his faults, is not going to have plays where it's like the guy's wide open 3 yards away and he throws it over his head or behind him. This whole thing, my playmaking ability, The NFL is not college where it's on 3rd and 8 and you just run around and make something happen. You got to be able to make all the plays all of the time in order to be great. And I think what the Colts are saying is we got a guy here who is reliable. We know what we're going to get versus a guy who is somewhat mercurial up and down. And somebody wrote today, I forget who it was, he said, this move says to you you're drafting a quarterback next April. And I think that's what's going to end up happening because I don't think they have faith in him that he can run the team consistently.
Michael, as always, great stuff. Congratulations. I got nothing I can say in response. I gotta own it. Gotta wear it. The Phillies look good. You better hope they make it all the way because I'm gonna be texting you. I'm gonna be in your mentions. I'm gonna be the salt in the wound.
Who are you, Frank Costanza? We're going to be at the Chuckleberg Court. We're going to be at the clubhouse.
No,
Boca Vista.
That's right. Del Boca Vista. No, good on you. Phillies look like a very, very good team, and you got a lot to look forward to there. And hopefully the Mariners can make it to the postseason. So
Bob said he'd wear the Schwantego.
No, I did not say any such thing. We appreciate it as always. You can find Michael on Twitter at Daily Hombre. By the way, were you talking any smack to any of the?
No, not at all. I was being very reserved and gentlemanly. You're the only one who caught any flack.
I was showing Lefko your pictures here. He's going, look at this guy. Look at this. He's trolling me. I can't even believe it.
I want the picture of me in a broom on the website, darn it.
You want me to put that up? I'll tweet it out.
There you go.
Stay tuned, everybody. I'm going to tweet out a picture of Michael Bradley just throwing salt in our wounds here. We appreciate it, man, as always, and we'll do it again next week.
Better luck next time, suckers.
Just so much delight.
I don't think that would be warmly received if you put that out there. Just going to say it.
I don't think it will be either, but he seems to want it out there, so
He wants it now until – see, here's the issue. He would get a little upset if he loses all those followers. Not that they would talk smack to him. They would just unfollow him, and that would hurt worse.
I don't know if they'd unfollow him.
Okay,
I don't
maybe
think
not.
I'd hope they wouldn't be that soft and would take it in the manner in which he meant it. He's having fun.
Yeah.
All right, how do we feel about the Mariners' rotation after this road trip? We'll tell you. Coming up next is Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
There's something special happening in Soto.
I feel like that's what happens when you add guys. It just changes the mojo.
That roar coming from the corner of Edgar and Dave, it's different.
This one is going. Goodbye, baseball. Josh Naylor with a home run.
Friday night, the Mariners return home for a huge 6-game set. Mariners, A's. First pitch at 7:10.
We believe in each other and we're ready to fight.
The push to the playoffs lives on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Dave Wyman here, and since I stopped playing football, we've been fortunate to live in the same house for over 20 years. That type of longevity is a good thing, except 20 years in the same house means a lot of things start to break. Most recently, it's our windows. Virtually every seal has broken, and that's why I reached out to Harley Exteriors. Chris and Ray came out to the house, and I could instantly tell we'd get along great, and I'd want to do business with them. They're local, they're huge fans of our teams, and big listeners to the station. Better yet, they have the best product. Olympic Series windows offered exclusively through Harley Exteriors are manufactured right here in Washington and designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. That means cooler in the summer, warmer in the winter. Look up Harley Exteriors for your window replacement. In August, Harley Exteriors is offering 50% off basic installation, no payments for 1 year, and an additional $200 off your project. Call 833-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
When you own a business, it feels like everything's on you. Orders, deliveries, employees, on you. That's why Comcast Business is giving you a year of mobile on us with your internet service. Really? Yep. We'll cover your first line of mobile for 1 year. So calling customers, getting directions, texting Janine and shipping, on us. The broken coffee maker? That one's still on you. Which means you'll save hundreds for your business and get the fastest mobile service with 5G cellular and Wi-Fi hotspots on us. But hurry, this deal won't last long. Get a mobile plan and free up the budget to maybe, I don't know, fix that coffee maker? Get mobile on us for 1 year, you guessed it, on us. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/22/25. Restrictions apply. New mobile customers only with internet standard service or above. Limited to value of 1 unlimited interline apply via 12 monthly internet bill credits. 1 discount per account. Fastest mobile based on mobile Wi-Fi and cellular data in service areas. Ookla Speed Test Intelligence 2H24.
Summer is the time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your abs or tan. Guys, I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning during Advanced Hair's once yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your very own hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. They are the team that addressed my hair loss, and I recommend them to everyone. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair's summer sales event is on for a limited time. So get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and make the call now while their summer savings event is still on. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
But I'm letting you know the Labor Day sales event is on at West Hills Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. The 2025 Ram 2500 and 3500 heavy duty brings muscle and good looks with class-leading torque and towing. Don't sleep on the new grille, LED lights, and tech upgrades. On sale now for $8,000 off MSRP, subject to credit approval. Offer ends September 2nd. West Hills Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
Hazelwood has it! The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident Book Series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these 3 books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident Book Series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, Viagra is not the answer for your problem. I know you think it is, but Viagra has horrible side effects, and for most men, the longer you're on it, the less it works. Viagra is not a curative medication. It's not fixing your problem. It's a Band-Aid for a shark bite. Acoustic wave therapy is the newest technology that can correct your problem, not just treat it. We can do something that no pill can do. We can restore your blood flow naturally. Get off Viagra today. Change your life like the thousands of men who already have, regardless of your age or your medical history. If you're tired of dealing with Peyronie's disease or erectile dysfunction, then call West Coast Men's Health today.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
His wish is my command. You heard El Hombre in the previous segment. In case you missed it, he was trolling me over the course of the Phillies Mariners series and sending me emojis, and he was sending me pictures, and he finished with a picture of him in his Phillies gear holding a broom and then a number 1 sign with the other, and just having fun. Can't say anything. They did it. Mariners got their butt kicked. But I told him I was going to tweet it out. He's like, yeah, put it out there. So it's out there for all of you to enjoy. If you'd like to see the gracious winner that is El Hombre, Michael Bradley, you can go, if you're on Twitter or X, whatever, at Bob Stelton or at Wyman and Bob.
There's already one comment.
Is there?
It's boo.
Boo.
Yeah.
Look how happy he is there, holding his broom.
I just wonder if that ruins the perception of people. You know how Dave never wanted to see what he looked like because it would ruin the image that he built up in his mind?
I think we tweeted out pictures of him before in his gear for the Turkey Bowl.
Okay.
When he had the eye black and the old school Michigan pants on and all that. So people, and plus his pictures on anybody that follows him, they can see what he looks like. So yeah, that mystery's gone. Meanwhile, check it out. If you're on Twitter, you want to see a very gracious winner in El Hombre. There you go, at Bob Stelton, at Wyman and Bob. Meanwhile, coming out of this road trip, we talked about the night and day difference, Lefko, between who this rotation is on the road versus who they are at home. And some of that makes perfect sense. Pitching at T-Mobile, 81 games. You're in all different stadiums, obviously, on the road. Some are pitchers' parks, some are hitters' parks. So you're going to see, I don't expect somebody who's got a 3 ERA to be 3 at home and 3 on the road, and they're just that consistent. There's going to be variation. That makes sense. But it's pretty extreme when you see, outside of Brian Wu, he's the closest to at home and what he is on the road. And then Emerson Hancock, for whatever reason, was worse at home, better on the road. But everybody else, it's a pretty dramatic difference. That's got to get cleared up to some extent before the postseason. assuming you're going to be playing some games on the road, hopefully, as the series move on and they get beyond the wild card series and all of that. How do you feel about the rotation? Who do you have confidence in right now outside of Brian Wu? For me, it's Brian Wu, and it's Brian Wu. I mean, we've seen others can get it done. We've seen Kirby go out there and dominate, goes out there, strikes out 14 Angels. He just a couple starts ago, he was phenomenal. We've seen Luis Castillo has probably been, as far as consistency, their second best pitcher this year. Logan, obviously has been in and out with injuries. Same is true with Miller. I mean, I guess despite what happened in the past 2 starts with Castillo, I guess I'd still put him at number 2 if I'm slotting.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3.
Yeah, that's a tough question. It really is.
I don't know. I don't know.
I might say Kirby, number 2 right now, or 3. Castillo, Kirby. Bryce Miller on the very short sample size of he looked fine in his first start back, didn't really implode, but there really is no definitive, I feel confident in this rotation. And it's kind of sobering how much of a far cry that is from last year, where every night it was, look how good this pitcher is, look how good this starter is, and it was the offense that was letting them down. So to some capacity, you think, well, certainly it's going to get better over the course of this final month plus now, because these are established arms. We know what we have seen from them in the past, but also it's not like it's an innings issue at this point. They're not getting tired because they have pitched a ton of innings, whereas every single one of these guys is pushing up towards or past their career high. Only Brian Wu's going to get there. Logan Gilbert, no, he's not close to that because of the injury and because of his short outings. Kirby, I don't think is going to hit past what his previous innings high is. So if I could point to the easy issue of, maybe they're tired, I don't know, maybe you'd feel better. At this point, it just feels like this is what you might get because of various reasons this year. Of Kirby had the delayed start to the season. Logan Gilbert still, in terms of depth of his outings, has not looked the same since coming off the injury. Fair to think that the injury is maybe still playing a little bit of a factor there, at least keeping him from the dominance we've seen in the past. So outside of Wu, I don't really know what to expect, and you do kind of have to hesitate a little bit about what this team can do if your starters cannot consistently give you deep outings.
Yeah, it is a weird spot to be in, looking at this rotation and asking that question. Who do you have confidence in? Because last year it would have been, what are you talking about? All of them.
Everyone.
Throw any one of them out
last
there.
year was, who would you start?
Yeah.
And you wouldn't know because they're all legitimate number 1s.
Yeah. And now this year it's like, all right, remove Wu from the equation. Let's say you got one game to win. He just pitched. But you've got to win this next game to get into the postseason. And everybody else is rested. We're taking Wu out of it. Which guy are you going with?
I would say Castillo, because he's got the pedigree in the past of he started your playoff game in a huge situation. He had been the opening day starter over the past 2 years. And whether teams want to admit it or not, opening day means a lot more. You want to go out and win that game. There's so much buildup behind it. So Castillo has been built for big moments. And he seems a little bit less than Kirby and Gilbert in terms of routine and situation where, he struggled on the road, but it feels like on the road, Kirby and Gilbert really don't lock in as much as they do in a home start, where everything you can kind of schedule down to the minute, and they're so precise and kind of so perfect in how they go about a game. I just wonder if they are more prone to getting knocked off their game if something goes wrong on the road, or if something is thrown out of whack, like the rain delays we've talked about, where you don't know exactly when you're getting out there, maybe until about 30 or 40 minutes before the game starts. Or in a situation like Kirby had in Williamsport, he did not seem totally comfortable after the first couple innings. It's in a weird stadium. You got this loud, yappy kid crowd there. You had a situation where you had to deal with all these distractions all day. Castillo seems like those things kind of roll off him a little bit better.
Yeah, and it seems weird to say that on the heels of today.
Yeah.
He was bad.
And
he
even
was
Friday
really bad his last
too.
start. I mean, that's 2 in a row where he's not gone 5 innings. I think each has been 4, right?
Yeah.
So it's weird to say that, but if we're looking in totality at his season, I think he's been their second best pitcher. And you're right, he's got the pedigree, he's got the resume. So I guess if we're slotting, I'd go Wu number 1, the obvious. I'd go Castillo number 2. And I'm lost. Miller, just by virtue of his absence, and he's had 1 start, is going to be 5. So it's like, all right, is Gilbert your 3? Or is it Kirby? I don't know. And it's a weird, and I hope it becomes really clear, and I hope they we get back to that point when we're done with this final, 34-game stretch where we're going, throw them, any one of them out there. I feel great. Any one of them. Might be at this point a bit of a daydream, but hopefully we're much closer to that because this team's, even with the additions they've made, they're still inconsistent offensively. So you can't count on the offense bailing out this pitching is how I see it. Now, you're certainly in a better position to have that happen, but still they're not that team yet.
Yeah, and I hope you can just boil it down to the Phillies are really good offensively. And it's tough to look at in the moment because we only have this to go off of. But the Mariners did just sweep the White Sox and the Rays. So if they come back home, you see those good outings. You can look back and then say the Phillies were really good. They jumped on the Mariners starters early. Things escalated from there. And Logan Gilbert is closer to the Logan Gilbert we're seeing now against a team like the A's or Padres or whoever they're going to face in the next couple of weeks instead of the Phillies, who have a deep lineup with power and are playing like one of the best teams in the National League. And all of baseball right now, honestly. It's the Brewers and the Phillies, maybe the Tigers right now that are playing like the best teams in baseball.
Yeah. Yeah, look, you did get beat by a good team, but the way you got beat was not acceptable. All right, we could handle if they went in there and, hey, man, you lost 5-4, you lost 4-3, you're right there, nip and tuck battle. You can still not happy, but you could live with that. When you're giving up 20-plus hits in 2 of the 3 games, and you don't even feel like you're competing, like you just went out there and just got your butt handed to you, that makes it decidedly worse. It just does. Hey, a reminder, Seahawks regular season is approaching, and we want to send one of you and 3 friends to watch the season opener on September 7th against the hated 49ers. All you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app and click the Win tab to find out how. If you don't already have the app, all you have to do is text the word app, APP, to 866-979-3776. We'll send you a link to download it. It's completely free. You can enter every day to increase your chances to win. The contest runs through Monday, August 25th. Meanwhile, this road trip wasn't a total loss from the Mariners. We'll tell you what that's about. Coming up next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
This place is electric. When we get crowds like this, it's special.
There's something special happening in Soto.
It's amazing getting to, play in front of a sold-out crowd.
The roar coming from the corner of Edgar and Dave is different.
J.P. Crawford with a walk-off 2-run home run.
Friday night, the Mariners return home for a huge 6-game set with the first of 3 against the A's. First pitch at 7:10. The push to the playoffs lives on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Well, you just heard us earlier talking about back injuries and living with pain and injuries. And I got to tell you, I've dealt with back injuries. I was also dealing with a hip situation. Basically, jiu-jitsu just beat the daylights out of my body. I ended up paying the price years later. If you're somebody like that, you've gone through some things in your life, you got pain you're living with, before you make a decision to deal with surgery, I recommend you go see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Now, look, I heard a ton of patients rave about the results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner. So I thought, what do I have to lose? Let's give it a shot. If it doesn't work, there's always surgery, I guess. But I went in, and I couldn't be happier with the results. Now, he told me, look, you got a lot of things going on in there, and I appreciated his honesty. He said, you got a torn labrum, you got a frayed tendon, you got arthritis, you got a bursa sac situation, you got all these things happening. It's not going to fix it all, but it's going to go a long way into helping you. And you know what? He was right. He is decidedly better than it was. It is night and day. Wagner is a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience performing more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. So if you're dealing with osteoarthritis or even bone-on-bone, you're going to be somebody who's back to doing what you enjoy doing and doing it without pain and without surgery. So whether it's a hip like I had, maybe it's your shoulder, your knee, your elbow, ankle, wrist, whatever it is, before you choose surgery, do what I did. Go see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
The insurance world, it can be confusing, so have First Mark Insurance guide you through it by taking the free First Mark Challenge. They'll explore offerings from top carriers for better coverage and lower rates. They save the Heward family thousands. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Windows are a home's top target for break-ins. At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we offer added security with our exclusive 3-layer security glass protection. Combined with our lifetime warranty, you'll have lifetime peace of mind. Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust.
Beat rising costs at Lake Washington Windows and Doors. For a limited time, get a 20% inflation discount and enjoy easy 18-month free financing with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest. Details at lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Seattle Sports has your chance to win 4 tickets to the Seahawks season opener on Sunday, September 7th. Open the Seattle Sports app, click the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter to win. You can enter once per day, so the more times you enter through the Seattle Sports app, the better your odds of winning 4 tickets to the Seahawks season opener. Do it every day, August 19th through August 25th. Details and rules at seattlesports.com/win. Only from the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
History, it had the gold rush. Then came the oil boom, the tech boom, but right now it's the Wi-Fi boom, and Xfinity Wi-Fi is booming. Xfinity has everything you need to tap into the Wi-Fi boom with seriously powerful and seriously reliable connection. It's got 99.99% network reliability and incredibly low lag, so your streams are smoother than making a decision on what to stream. And did I mention that you can even connect to hundreds of devices so you, your kids, your parents, your poker group, and whoever else is at home can all experience the Wi-Fi boom with Xfinity. And the Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed, all in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract, all with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply, not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with X5 Complete required for unlimited data, except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards, USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Taking a look at some things going on around the world of Major League Baseball. The Astros went 31 straight innings without scoring a run. 31.
Kind of remarkable, actually.
Wow. And they were getting their tail kicked. It wasn't like they were losing every game 1-0, although I think they did lose 1-0. But
that was yesterday, yeah.
They lost 10-0. They were, they were just taking beatings out there. They got swept by Detroit. So thankfully, thanks to their face plant alongside the Mariners who face planted, Mariners remain a game and a half back. And we went through it earlier, the division, just what each team is doing. You know, the Mariners have lost, 7 of 10. The Astros, 6 of 10. The Rangers, 8 of 10. Angels are 5-5 in their last 10. Just nobody wants the division. Nobody wants it. It's right there.
Yeah, I know it's tough as a fan base. You don't really have empathy for any other fan base, certainly not one of your rivals. But I think it just kind of sums up the fact that every team is going to struggle, especially at this point. And there's a reason why you hear people refer to it as the dog days of summer. You know, in August, when you're getting down to the end where you really don't see the finish line just yet, I think when September hits, you can see it.
Yeah.
You get that push, you get that adrenaline boost of this is a playoff race. But in the midst of a long, grueling road trip, when you're still in August and you're kind of slugging away through some issues and you deal with rain delays or gloomy weather or things like that, it's not just the Mariners' problem. Right now, the Mariners are having a problem, and they're in a slump, but everyone goes through it. I mean, the Astros literally went 3 straight games without scoring a run, and then into the 4th inning today before they scored a run. So everyone struggles at some point. You just hope it comes back, and you say, all right, now the Mariners, they've stabilized, and they can find some momentum. And I was torn for most of this series of, okay, do you look at this as a big missed opportunity, or thank goodness they're still just a game and a half back, because it easily could be 3 or 4 games. And now you're still there. You still have the Astros tethered within a series of you because it's a game and a half.
Just as a fan, I'm guessing their fans are dealing with it better because they win the division every year. They've got World Series titles.
Based on any online interaction, it doesn't look like it. But those are the same kind of people. Yeah,
they're horrible people. So the other news going on right now, the Royals are leading the Rangers 3-2 in the 4th inning. The reason I tell you that is the Royals are just 2 games back of that final wild card spot, which is currently held by Seattle Mariners. Yankees are the top spot, Boston in the 2nd wild card spot, Mariners in the 3rd spot, with the Royals, who've won 5 in a row, 8 of 10. They're rolling, and they're looking to make it 6 in a row. So this is where we have to root for somebody in our division, the Rangers, to battle back and handle the Royals in this series. So it does feel it's like I was saying to El Hombre, it is fun as a baseball fan to watch the scoreboard every night and see what all these different teams are doing because it impacts your team. I like that these games have consequence. We're not just writing it out and hopefully they're healthy at the when the postseason hits. No, every game means the world. That's great. I like that, but I'd be okay if they had a 10-game lead right now.
Yeah, it feels...
I'd be just as comfortable.
It feels a lot easier that the Mariners can still win the division. That's why the panic hasn't set in yet. But conversely, if for some reason all of a sudden you fall out of that wild card spot, then there's some panic. Then the angst will fully kick in for me because I've always had that, well, look, you're in a playoff spot. You're sitting there comfortably in the wild card. And not with the Royals all of a sudden. So the second that changes,
Cleveland 2.5 games
scary.
Back. Yes. So you got to... Keep your eye on the Royals.
Again,
Keep your eye on the Guardians, and then of course the Astros and the Yankees and the Red Sox and all those other teams that we're in the mix with. But yeah, you got 2 teams nipping at your heels there. Meanwhile, other things going on in baseball. Lawrence Butler, he called out Major League Baseball umpires in a pregame interview on the field the other day, and he doesn't seem to be too concerned about it.
If you were commissioner for a day, is there anything you'd look to see changed in the game?
ABS. I'm fed up with the umpires. I've had enough with the umpires. They miss too many calls both ways. They call strikes, balls, strikes.
Do you want all robotic?
I want the challenge system because
like 2 challenges a game.
Yeah, 3, just like they do it in AAA. Because if you look at AAA, the umpires are a little bit more cautious of what pitches they call because they know a pitcher or hitter might challenge it and it might embarrass them. So like they might be a little bit more cautious to pull that trigger. And I feel like up here they don't give
I can't disagree with them. I've been pounding the table for ABS. I want it there. Nobody loses their job. You don't lose the human element of the umpire. There's still the safe calls, the fair foul calls, the plays at the plate. plays at second base, blah, blah, blah. They're all still there. They're all still there. The only thing that changes is the ball and strike.
Personally, I think he should be suspended for the next 3 games.
Maybe
whoever they play next. It's the Mariners.
He'll get fined.
It's funny to hear someone come out that demonstratively, though, and just call him out like that. But yeah, he's right. You need it. We saw it in spring training. It's a flawless process. It's quick. It gets the job done.
Was it quicker than you thought it would be?
Yeah.
It was for me. I was surprised how quick it was.
Once I saw it, I go, oh, that makes sense. It's the exact same technology they use in tennis with the in or out call on the line. And now with the virtual measurement in the NFL, which I guess there was some problem the other night, but when it goes smoothly, it's just instantaneous. You show the spot.
It was like
that tracking.
Literally like what, 5, 6, 7 seconds maybe?
So there's no reason to not have it.
There isn't. There really isn't. And it's not, I love the human element. Like there's some charm to a guy getting the call wrong. That's what I never understood. Is this attachment to the wrong call? No, too many games, especially now, these games are too important, man. Way too important. If a guy misses a strike 3 call and you got traffic on the base paths and all of a sudden, all right, that's called ball 3, it's a full count, and now he gives up a long ball to the guy when he should have been out of the inning, or he gives up a base hit and the run score. I mean, it's just, it's too consequential. So it works at the AAA level, and bring it up to the big league level.
Yeah, next year. I want to see it next year.
Yeah.
There should be no reason why they don't do it.
I don't feel like there's a legitimate, credible argument against it. The only one I hear is, well, come on. I like the human element. Dave, for a while, I like complaining about. I'm like, there's plenty of other things you can find to complain about.
I know Cal has said it kind of would take away from the art of pitch framing.
Yeah,
catchers
I get it.
You adjust.
Maybe some pitchers who have a really good catcher, who's a catcher who frames really well. All right, maybe you're looking at it takes away that advantage. But you just heard a big leaguer there going, I'm done with him.
Right.
I want that now. So I agree with them. All right, coming up, what's missing from this Mariners team right now? What are they missing? We're going to get into that next. It's Wyman and Bob. Mike Lefko in for Wyman, Seattle Sports on 710.
There's something special happening in Soto.
I feel like that's what happens when you add guys. It just changes the mojo.
That roar coming from the corner of Edgar and Dave, it's different.
This one is going. Goodbye, baseball. Josh Naylor with a home run.
Friday night, the Mariners return home for a huge 6-game set. Mariners-A's. First pitch at 7:10.
We believe in each other and we're ready to fight.
The push to the playoffs lives on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. Are they a reliable service? How will I know if something happens? Are they keeping everyone safe? At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today to talk to a local security expert.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men, too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat-freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
You're free now. Free to stream beyond your wildest dreams.
Rom-coms, slasher-coms, space operas.
Free to fill your feed with impossibly chonky chonkers.
Cats, corgis, babies on demand.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things.
Bowl of chips on the Robo-Vacuum.
Free to open a world of remote work and Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com.
Limited availability, service in select locations only.
Now is the time. We talk about it year-round, but roofing season really is upon us. It's Mike Salk here. So what makes it roofing season? Long, dry days where roofing crews can work realistically sun up to sundown. They're cranking out projects all over our region, and Riverside Roofing is, of course, leading the charge. Local to Marysville, Riverside Roofing serves the entirety of Western Washington. They do amazing work. They've earned my recommendation, plus industry awards like GAF Master Elite's President's Club, a status fewer than 1% of roofing companies in the entire country actually achieve. Get a roofing quote in less than 60 seconds using Quick Quote directly on riversideroofingllc.com. It'll pop up as soon as you go on their website. During and after your roofing job, you can expect a yard and driveway totally clean of debris. Behind their national accolades is a family company from right here in Marysville, built upon important local values like trust. That's why Riverside Roofing is the local roofing company you can trust. Go to riversideroofingllc.com.
I'm Matt Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Your car steering wheel could be a ticking time bomb. At least 24 people have died and many more injured because their airbags fired shrapnel at them upon inflating. Tens of millions of cars have been recalled. If you suffered cuts that required stitches, hearing or vision loss, or broken bones, please contact us today. You could be owed money for medical bills and other damages.
Morgan & Morgan. Visit us at badairbags.com for an office near you. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
With Progressive, it's easy to reach customer service with our app, website, chat, or by phone. Because when getting help is hard, it's not help at all.
Little help. A little help over here?
Thank you for calling Bench Press Assistance.
What?
Due to excessive gym volume, all available spotters are currently lifting heavy weights off the chests of other bench pressers.
Seriously?
Please continue to hold, and we will remove the barbell from your chest in the order in which your cry for help was received.
Getting assistance should be easy. With Progressive, it is. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-475-1818. That's 800-475-1818.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. You guys can weigh in on the Seahawks, weigh in on the Mariners. We just had Tyler Kepner on from The Athletic, talking some baseball with him. He was very mellow. He was very calm, like, yeah, it was ugly. It was bad. There's nobody's going to try to convince you otherwise, but he feels like the Mariners are the best team in this division that nobody seems to want to run away with. As we've talked about, it's amazing how bad the AL West has been. For the longest time, every time the Mariners won, the Astros won. And when the Astros would lose, the Mariners would lose. And that still holds true. The Astros have dropped 6 of 10. They've lost 4 in a row. Mariners have dropped 7 of 10. They've lost 5 in a row. Rangers have dropped 8 of 10. They've lost 2 in a row. Angels are 5-5 in their last 10. They've lost 2 in a row. Athletics are bringing up the rear, but they are killing it. 6 out of their last 10. They've won 1 in a row. So the division is there. Mariners remain a game and a half back. It is right there for them. They just got to, doors open. They're welcoming you in. Walk right through, have a seat.
And that's why it's easier to remain impartial when you're removed from it, when you're not here every single day and you're not privy to the hypersensitivity of, we have seen this, we see everything that happens that goes wrong. you're the national perspective and you're looking at the Mariners, and it did kind of sum it up because, we asked him a couple of times, why are you more confident in the Mariners than the Astros? And when he rattled off all those injuries, I was like, yeah, you know what? From the national perspective, if you look at the portrait of these two teams right now, they're both playing terribly, but the Mariners are fully healthy, or they're soon going to be really, truly healthier than they've been at all this season. Victor Robles, that return's getting delayed a little bit, and we'll talk about that throughout the show as well. But they're going to get him back. They have the rotation intact for the first time all season. You look at the Astros, and still the hater thing kind of crystallized into my mind. Yeah, they don't have their closer. They don't have Paredes. He's not coming back. Yordan Alvarez is coming back at some point, but he's been out for so long. What do you get? The starting rotation is still kind of in tatters. You have two pitchers. By the way, Framber Valdez got touched up today. He got destroyed early on. So outside of Brown and Valdez, the Mariners are dealing with a full rotation. The Astros have no one. They have, 3 or 4 more starters who are hurt? JP France, Luis Garcia, Lance McCullers, Brandon Walter, Hayden Wesneski, Ronel Blanco. From that perspective, it makes sense. From our perspective, Bob, when we sit through it every single day, I get the sky is falling and it doesn't feel great and it just is awful all around. But I do understand why, looking at it removed, you feel better about the Mariners than the Astros.
Yeah, it's look, losing's one thing. I think when you go out there and you just get pounded the way they did, it feels different. There's losing, and then there's just getting your butt handed to you and looking like you weren't even competitive. I think that's what makes it worse. And I get the emotion attached to it, and I get the, this team stinks, fire everybody. I understand that in the heat of the moment, but it is right there for them. What do you think is, and I'm curious from the texters as well,